Dodge this.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Wookiees. You are tuned in live to this week's Freaky Friday with me, one of the Woo crew, Kev Baker, and what a lineup we have tonight. We've got Joe. We've got Ken, we've got the Wookie, we've got Scott Lopez, we've got Joe Joseph, Johnny Whistles, Popeye has even turned up tonight. And
now, wait. Before you even go, Popeye's turned up tonight.
I know. I didn't want to make a thing about that, you know? I didn't want to, highlight the fact
I'll
that,
just forget it. Okay, right. But we'll just pretend it doesn't exist. Okay.
His sporadic appearances in the Woo crew. He's like a cameo role, Joe. Do you know what I mean?
It is more quantum than anything.
We have got a brand new brother on the Woo crew tonight, and I can't wait to bring him on. He's also a new host right here on this network, and I don't think enough of you out there realise this yet. So, without any further ado, throwing the Wookiee suit right over to Mr. Frank Castle. How you doing, man?
Yes, what's up, guys?
Oh, all the better for you being here, dude. What's happening with you?
I'm just so excited with the show going and everything. Saturday nights, check it out. It's Fearless, Truth Frequency Radio. And I'm loving it. I feel rejuvenated, filled with the light and life to be back on track again.
You're back with your family, man. But what time's this show of yours on, Frank, so that people can get used to tuning in live?
It's right before Chris and Cherie's show. It's 9.
Right? Is it 8 or 9? Or
no, it's 9 to 10 on Saturday nights, New York City time.
Yes.
So that's 2 p.m. in the UK, 2 a.m. in the UK.
So 2 a.m. That's getting kind of late for you, isn't it?
In the UK, probably not, Joe. Nobody sleeps anymore.
No, you guys don't sleep out there.
It's not just us. It's all Wookiees and people that are into the information. I don't think our brains ever slow down enough to let us get asleep.
They do say the freaks come out at night.
Or the Wookiees. I'd prefer the Wookiees.
Yeah, let's go with Wookiees. I like that better.
Right, talking of Wookiees, before we get into the death and the suspicious circumstances surrounding the loss of a pop star, Johnny Whistles. Do you want to head on over to the tinfoil section, man?
I'm in there right now, Kev. Incredible. Again, the numbers turn up, Kev. We've got 51 in the chat just now. And we start off with our brothers, Joe Joseph, Lucky, and Popeye, who are in there just now. And we've got Albert. We've got Astriana. We have Ozzy Anzac, great to see you here. We've got Barb Ryan, Bill Demarest. We've got Calvin Long, Carrie Swartz McDowell, the throat puncher herself. We have Dus Furman. Is it Dan Furman?
Did you say the throat puncher herself? Really?
That always gets me, that name.
It's awesome.
And you forgot Dan Surfer, man. I'm sure we went over this last night, Johnny.
We did.
Did it, and I still can't get it, but there you go. See, if you just put maybe a wee full stop in between them, we'll get it right.
You see, folks, this is the problem with prolonged temporal access technology. Johnny Whistles doesn't know if he's here, there, today, tomorrow. Whistles, what's happening?
Oh, I don't know, mate. We have Daryl Bowles, we've got Devlin, Dominic, we've got Drone Free Zone, we've got Edward Garza, Frederico, we've got Free Winnipeg, we've got Gaz, we've got Helen Gregg, Iferian, got James Milward, got Johnny Be Free, John Tita was here, again as usual, Joy Williams, great to see you, Karen E, obviously Ken Webb and Kev Baker, we've got Lichty Lass, Lucky Man, Lynn Metcalf, we've got Marco Magic, Mary Sharp, Matthew Osmondson, Michael Scott, we've got Meredith, Michael, Nancy Lalonde, One World Human, got lovely Pam Wolf, Pen Chris, great to see you again. We've got Pete Small, myself, Randy Don, we've got Sam Ramirez, the lovely Sarah Clough, we've got Scott Lopez, obviously, Scottish John, our brother in Texas, Tony Patch.
Right, wait.
Wow.
Johnny, wow. Tony Patch is in the chat.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Uncle Tone, good to have you out there tonight.
Fantastic. Great to see you in the chat. And we've got Tony Phillips, lovely Vesna Babic. Last but not least, a new name in there, we've got Wendy Lala.
And Anne Craney has sneaked into the chat, Johnny, the queen herself.
I am bowing as you speak, Kev.
Exactly. If I don't give her a shout out, guys, I will not be allowed to stay on till 3 a.m. in the morning. I have to get my priorities right. I don't want to be like George Bush and get a slipper in the side of the head in a minute. But listen,
she is TFR widow, though, buddy, you know?
Well, she is a happy TFR widow because the fact that I leave her alone for long periods of the day keeps her very, very happy, guys. But, we're lucky we're even on air tonight because last night I am assured that the internet was broke. That's right. Somebody broke the internet.
Who could that be?
It wasn't me. It wasn't Joe. It wasn't even Frank Castle.
Prerequisite, though, is you have to have a beard.
So I heard, and I heard it was a bit of a beard hair that got stuck in the fiber optic between here and the USA. But Popeye, you assure me it was one of your stories.
Yeah, oops. I posted something that broke the internet again. Oops. It happened.
Man, it's got me freaked,
Yep. Everybody that saw it, the responses were like, holy F, holy S, what the F? My messages were just exploding last night. I just randomly posted it. I don't know, like 11:30, quarter after 11 last night. I finished putting it together. Yeah, what could I be talking about, ladies and gentlemen? What is everybody freaked out about? All right, I posted a video of Prince, supposedly, I guess we could say, predicting something was going to happen in 2001. And he says Osama bin Laden's name, and this was back in like 98, December of 98, at a concert in the Netherlands. And I've had this video for years and years and years, and I've talked about it. You guys have heard me actually mention it before when we discussed 9/11 or like mind control and predictive programming and things like that. And I was talking with Radchick yesterday. We were having this is how our conversations that her and I have, just a simple conversation between her and I, usually sparks something like this. And she had never seen it. And I said to her, have you ever seen Prince predicting 9/11? Because we were talking about his death. And she said, no. So I had to go find it because I wanted her to see it. And as I was digging it out, I was like, I should put this up because I bet you nobody knows about this because nobody had talked about it in years. And I hadn't seen it all day long in any of my news feeds on Twitter, on Facebook. So long story short, I dug through a few hard drives, found it, and I rendered it in HTML5 format so I could put it up on the internet again. Because I used to have it on YouTube, but it's gotten removed from channels, and it was responsible for one of my channels getting torpedoed, one of the many. So there's a few videos that, Kev, you know what I'm talking about. There's a few videos that you know now to stay away from. Even if you see the thing that got you screwed resurge a couple years later, you're like, I'm not putting that on YouTube. So I hosted it on Federal Jack, so they can't yank it down or give me a copyright strike.
That's a really good policy, Popeye. And you were even saying that there's people out there who have gone to YouTube, re-uploaded it, and they're going to get absolutely hammered for it.
Man, I want to do it. That's just crazy. He talks about 2001 hit me, all of this stuff. That is I had never seen that before. I was like listening to it, and I could hear you guys talking. I'm like, what the F? WTF is the first thing that comes to mind. It's like, no way. That is, and he supposedly got like tens of thousands, 12,000, something like that, unreleased stuff that's in a vault. And they're saying they're probably never going to release it or something like that. And I wonder what else he got up in there, what other concerts he got, because he was talking about chemtrails, talking about a lot of stuff. It's pretty crazy. I can't believe. I want to put it up though.
Don't put it up on YouTube because it'll get you a copyright strike. I saw somebody had put it up. A couple people had put it up on their YouTube channels, and I'm like, you're going to get a copyright strike for that. There's a reason I didn't put it back up on mine. I have 5 or 6 channels still. If I'm not uploading it to any of them, that should give you a warning. There's a reason I hosted it from Federal Jack. I didn't do it to get the hits. I don't have advertising on the site. I don't care about that. Everybody knows that.
People need to see that. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. People need to see that.
That's why it's there, because you can't delete it from my server without taking out my whole server. And it doesn't matter because I still have the thing archived. I'm the one that uploaded it to the server last night so everybody could see it. I'm the one that has it in my physical location, and I have multiple copies of it. And by the way, the video, anybody can download it. If you go to federaljack.com/9-11-01, It'll bring up the 9/11 download archive page, or you can go to the download section on Federal Jack and there'll be a widget for it. Either way, it's in there. Just scroll down to where it says Prince Predicts 9/11, and you can download it. And I think it's up there in like 2 or 3 different formats. And
Who's got the copyright on it?
No one. I originally stumbled upon this years and years and years ago, back in 2006, and I did everything I could to verify it, which is chasing down, that this actually came from. It sounds like, it's at a concert, and according to the video maker and where I had gotten it from, it was from the Netherlands. So that's why I went out of my way to prove. Like, I did a screenshot yesterday when I put the article together, showing, look, this is when it was. I'm not saying he's trying to tell you because of this, or he's trying to warn you because he was fighting the good. I'm not saying any of that. All I'm saying is, look, this is really strange. Here it is. I'm presenting it to you. This is an old piece of evidence that's been sitting around. Like we're all cold case detectives. Here's an old piece of evidence that's been sitting on the shelf for years. Have at it. Tell me what you think.
Well, Popeye, to add to that, some kind of recent evidence or a clue, perhaps, as to something going on in the background, was his very last Instagram message. Very cryptic, very strange, and it read, "Just when you thought you were safe." And that was it. Nothing more after that. And that's why there's people on the internet claiming that there could be some kind of shenanigans going on here. But Frank, you've dropped something in our chat here. Another guy from the music industry. This is really going to be remembered as like the year of death. We're losing that many people. What's your take on all of this, man?
Well, I think he died on the 111th day, 111.
Whoa.
From 9/11. I'm pretty sure the numbers work out that he's definitely involved somehow. And I think his music catalog might revert. We got to keep an eye on his catalog, because didn't he win everything back, and then he went back and he was about to release something? Now where does this lie? Where does it go? That's what you have to watch right there, because that'll tell you what's that'll just actually add fuel to the conspiracy, actually.
This is like when Eyes Wide Shut was ready to come out, and then Kubrick just kind of offed it, and then it was all edited up, and we never got to see the real expose of all these parties that they have.
Didn't he say wait a few days in his message before you cry?
Yes, before you pray or something, wasn't it?
Yeah. These guys with their numbers and their rituals, you lose these guys, and they always say, "Oh, I made the deal with, I made that deal." The deal includes you leaving this world right up in the middle of, whenever they want you gone. It's like you fall on the sword at that point. Here they come. He's probably saying it's been quiet for all these years. That's when you usually wait to get somebody back as well. You don't do it in the height of anything. Oops, look, he's gone. Oh, look at that. It was years later. Like they don't forget. If they got uses for you. Once you make those deals, that's like an etherical soul level deal. They're giving you the popularity and the power and everything, but you're really a slave.
And if there's anyone that is going to be able to call your number when your time is up, it's going to be our queen over here, who celebrated her birthday.
Yeah, that was the other thing.
Isn't it just strange, Frank, how you've got the Queen's birthday and then like Prince, the royal kind of name, at the same time as we have this Arch of Baal up in London?
Oh, they put it up? I heard
it's an Arch of Triumph, they're calling it, but it's still from Palmyra, and it's still ISIS bait, and it's still, why the hell are they doing it?
Yeah, you can call it Turret of Rose, but, it's still what it is. And I heard they turned it, they wouldn't put it up in Manhattan. I heard there was a big thing up over here where people would not let it go up, or they didn't want it there. I don't know if they did it, but it's funny how everything seems to line up perfectly, all the ducks in a row, almost every single time. And they go, oh, look at the coincidence and all this. It's just coincidence, but there's no such thing as coincidence.
And like we said last night on the show, guys, we'll all be called conspiracy tards for even talking this way. But Popeye, you found the clip of what Prince was talking about. Let's let the audience hear that and let them make their mind up.
Well, that's why I posted it. Like I said in the article, I typed up, after Prince's death today, I had to go through a few old hard drives to find this video. Been removed from YouTube multiple times and is responsible for one of my many channels getting taken down. It's from one of Prince's overseas tour stops during 1998. The one this audio comes from is December 23rd, 1998 in the Netherlands, which can be seen in the screenshot below. And then there's a screenshot where I highlighted the actual the date of the event and where this audio will say reportedly comes from. Okay. Now, to the best of my ability, I verified this many years ago before I put it out. And then after it got taken down so many times and I got so many copyright strikes, I just, after a while, Kev knows you stop putting stuff up because you just want to stop getting kicked in the teeth from YouTube and be able to actually keep all your other content up there.
Well, if you don't learn from the first mistake, Popeye, hell mend you.
No, well, that's why that's one of the things that urged me to create the download section on Federal Jack. So, I mean, it's there. You can just download it. So they didn't really stop anything. It's just not on YouTube. But you can go to federaljack.com, go to the download section, and just rip whatever you want. That's why all that stuff's there. So anyway, here's the audio, and I'm going to play it twice. It's like 24 seconds long. I'm going to play it twice, and then, I want all of you, Frank, we'll start with you, especially because you're not only intelligent, but you're in the music industry, so I'd love to get your take on this. Okay. But I want everybody to listen to this twice and tell me what you think, because, I mean, it's been debated. Is that Prince? Yeah, it's Prince. You can totally tell it's him, but here we go.
I gotta go back to America. I gotta go get ready for the bomb. I'm from a big lot getting ready to bomb. I'm from a big lot getting ready to bomb. Better watch out. You're not the one. I gotta go back to America. I gotta go get ready for the bomb. I'm from a big lot getting ready to bomb. I'm from a big lot getting ready to bomb. Better watch out. You're not the one.
All right, so thoughts, Frank?
First of all, that's him. That's definitely him. That's how I would do it. If I knew the one place they can't stop you is on stage. That's the one place where they tell you play ball, or if you have a handler, don't say that stuff on stage. You don't need that kind of press or whatever. That's the one time nobody can do nothing. They're not pulling a plug on you. The crowd will rush them, So it's almost like, Ed, let it out, and he's probably in the middle of a giant crowd in the moment. If he knows anything, he's probably making him sick, and he just puts it out there in that piece of the song. I mean, wow, though, that he was just saying it. He makes it like he's playing his song. I'd come out rapping it. I would do the same thing. Like, you ain't going to shut me up and then go do it. So my opinion is it's him letting people know what's going on.
I would totally concur with that, Popeye. And, people might think, well, how would Prince find out? Prince is one of these A-listers, and you can imagine if there's parties that the elites were having and they're bringing somebody in to entertain, this is the kind of cat they would call on. So why wouldn't he be there when there's conversations been had?
He played, he probably played like the White House for the Clintons.
Exactly, dude, exactly.
And he's like, hey, guys, I got to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. Like, ran into the Oval Office. Like, took pictures of all these folders that said, like, top secret in it.
What if it's deeper than that? Well, what if it's deeper than that? And this is what I proposed yesterday. Our conversation, and why this is what spurred me to post this. Because I knew that I did know of that posting this on Federal Jack and then putting it out there on the internet would get discussion going about it. Now, Frank can back me up on this. Him and I we did an awesome show about the inside, behind the scenes of the music industry. A lot of these musicians are abused, and they are used. A lot of these things that they do are rituals, these live performances and things, right? Mm-hmm. What if he was in the same, like, Kathy O'Brien and all them, they talked about how they had multiple personalities and they were used for different things. Well, what if he was the same way to a degree, and during whatever time period that he was used for whatever, when he was really famous, I mean, he was kind of I don't want to say a small guy, but he was, I mean, he was definitely a ladies' man, but at the same time, he was also very effeminate. So he's almost like the type that you would think that would get sucked into one of those situations at Bohemian Grove, like some of the rumors about Kanye West too, right? So what if he was actually mind controlled to a degree, or not? Maybe not even on that level. Maybe they didn't mind control and he wasn't used as a slave. Maybe he had to do things sexually to get his foot in the door. Frank, you and I talked about this. You have to do some really creepy stuff to be able to get your name and be as big as these people are. So what did he have to do? And if he was doing that, maybe he was around and privy to things. Remember, these people are idiots, and they get drunk, they do drugs when they're partying, and they talk. And I mean, you can go all the way back even 50 years ago to the Kennedy assassination, and you'll see that people involved talked in front of people in certain partying situations when they were all hanging out. And maybe they shouldn't have talked in front of these people. And that's how we learn some of the things that we know, right? So what if it's the same type of scenario with Prince? Maybe he actually was privy to something. Maybe let's be honest, 9/11 wasn't planned overnight. You know what I'm saying? That took a few years. So just my thought.
I'll add some woo to that. What if when to get famous, instead of doing the sexual stuff, which is pretty much everyone, it's almost like a domination control thing. What if he was one of the other guys that was involved in the actual black magic, right? And then was privileged to be around the psychopaths that would sacrifice something or someone. He was really big, and he wrote more music than just his own, and was behind the scenes in quite a lot. So we're looking at the hierarchy of this whole situation, and I would put him in a 1%, possibly behind the scenes as well. Those guys go the extra mile. It's not even just sex. And Prince was tiny. I met him in Miami, and he was really small, and he was walking around with assless chaps. So there is something going on to that. But, they tell him it's his funkadelic style, and that's just how he's. But you can kind of see it from the sexual side. I mean, he could have been involved with the whole thing. These guys are big numbers behind the scenes like that. Big, big, big players. And you're right. None of these guys are just, they're not just tight-lipped like that. Because they're getting whacked. These parties are insane. You don't even know what they're getting. And if they have the personality problem, when they're on stage, they're the, I rock out on stage, ain't nobody going to tell me. And then you get off stage and you're right back to being handled. And it's, oh, hello, how are you today? Yeah, we're just promoting the album, Think about what they say with Beyonce. The multiple characters, like when she gets out there, she becomes Sasha Fierce or whatever. That's a demon in her. That personality takes over.
Yep.
That personality, when they break people in mind control, they tell you it's like they're in little places. There's a mind here, a mind here. They switch, boom, and they're into that. And, they have a lot of shows on TV, like the United States of Terror was a good one with the multiple personalities and stuff, to see how that actually affects people and takes over. That's all mind control. That they break you and separate you into parts. So you're easily controlled. Those guys that are famous they're handled. I got in to see it, and I said, I'm the rock star. You don't get to do that to me. And they were like, they laughed at me like, oh no, you're going to do it, and you're going to do this. And I'm like, nuh-uh.
You will do it, and you will like it.
Yeah. I'm just going to put my fist in up to my elbow. And it's like, no, I'm running. I'm out of here.
Right. Scotty Lopez, you want to chime in, buddy?
I just find it interesting how, of all the people for Prince to bring up in this concert, that it's Osama bin Laden. And this is what, 98? Bin Laden was pretty obscure. Nobody really knew about bin Laden at that time.
He was CIA.
Yeah, and so you know, of all the people for him to bring up in a concert like that, it could have been, everybody knows who, like Saddam Hussein. He could have picked anybody, but just some obscure person like Osama bin Laden. And I gotta wonder, was this concert before or after the Kenya bombings? Because that was around the same time. So was Osama bin Laden in the news at the time, or was it beforehand when nobody even really, your average person didn't even know who Osama bin Laden was?
And you could throw a spin on it and just say, hey, they hire people to do shows, like in those areas of the world where you'd be privileged to meeting these characters as well. They don't talk about that, when they bring the models that don't make it over to the other side of the world and pay them so much money to hang out with guys that have money.
Oh, and guys, if you want to hear more of Frank Castle, tune in on Saturday nights right here on TFR. But we've still got 2.5 hours of this woo to go. Don't go anywhere, because we're coming back to Prince, the Illuminati, and all the woo right after these short messages. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, Wookiees, and we are going deep into the woo tonight. I'm one of the woo crew. We've got Wookie in the house. We've got Ken Webb. We have got Joe Joseph. We've got Popeye, Johnny Whistles, and Frank Castle. And before the break, we were talking about Prince, the Illuminati, the handlers involved in the music scene, the deals you've got to do with the devil. And Popeye, I think you were up next. If he's not away collecting his rainwater, that is.
Yeah, you forgot it. He's got to go collect his
rainwater. I forgot about that, Joe. I forgot about that. But what's your take on all this Prince coming out with that, man?
Ooga booga. No, I mean, can I be honest with you, dude? I just had to say it. No, I totally think that whether or not he knows it, again, I think what Frank said was very powerful. That sometimes, in these entertainers, there's demons that come out and they say things and they do things. And I don't know, maybe that could be something that happened there. There's so many different possibilities. I would rather go off the deep end, though, and go with demonic possession for 500.
I like it.
That's what I'm saying.
Popeye?
Well, that's why I brought up the mind control thing, because yesterday I thought about, Frank, when you said Sasha Fierce, I said the same thing during my conversation with Christina yesterday. I said, it reminds me of how they'll channel a different energy, a different side of them to do this. Well, if you look at it you could look at it in one way and say it's demonic, or you could look at it in the other way and say it's a fractured psyche, and it's one of their compartments. That's being activated. Well, that's how they do the mind control slaves. That's why I said.
Can I ask you something? When you thought that thought right there, when you were pondering this, were you smoking a Sherlock Holmes pipe?
No.
Come on.
But Popeye is bang on. And we've got an example of it, right? Because
totally
if anyone has watched Britney Spears, there's a very famous interview where she's talking away normally, and then all of a sudden, an English speaking or an English accent alter comes out live on air. And it's a perfect example of what you're saying, Popeye.
Well, that was around the same time, Kev, that she started having all these meltdowns, and she was shaving her head, and she started beating some dude's truck with an umbrella or whatever it was.
Exactly.
That was her compartments breaking down.
That really hits hard.
That were the walls between the personalities breaking down. That's what you saw. That's why they pulled her back, and they did that whole thing that they did with her.
But, we had a guest on at one point, Elise E., and she was talking about the fact that she realized she had fractured or alters in her psyche when she woke up one morning with a broken hand. And that led her to start recording around the house and things like that. And she realized that she had multiple alters that she had no idea about.
Do you think they drag them right out of the Mickey Mouse Club? And I'm being serious.
I think so. When you look at the people there, definitely.
Yeah, they start young. They break them. It's really sex and drugs and some kind of compartmentalization of your mind is done through those kind of like rituals. You get them young and you go over and over and over and over again. You know, a lot of
Frank,
people
I
too.
think there's even a layer before that, because I think in America, this pageant scene that exists over there, it's almost as if that's the layer before going
crazy.
to the Walt Disney kind of level.
Yeah, that's rough, right? And I only know all this because I was in the Mickey Mouse Club, and I don't know if I told you this, but they told me I was too fat, and they kicked me out. I was the E, the MICKEYMOUSE. I was that guy, and they booted me for being chubby. But all those other talented little kids go through, and they all have these problems. Listen, do you think that they're just weird, or Madonna just develops a British accent, or is that one of the personalities? Right? You got to think about all these artists are talking about the other personality. This other person takes. I could say that too. Oh, when I get on stage, I'm more me. I'm super Frank or something, you know. But
Do you think they say that as an excuse, like maybe almost like a cover, if you will?
yeah,
Or do you think it's actually happening? Like they're identifying with that other personality or that other.
they might not even know any better. You know, oh, I just turned into this other character. You know, I mean, to be normal about it, I turn into a character too, but I know exactly what I'm doing. Do they know exactly what they're doing? They rename themselves to do it, and each one has a different name. You know, I think the dark magic. It's weird because they do the sex and drugs, and then those rituals are what bring it in, and they fracture your psyche, and then it enters through there. That's how I kind of seen it work. I didn't really, when we just go mind control, it almost seems too generic and scientific for me to see that happening, because I see the the actual rituals taking place. I don't really see anything but the parties. Like, we don't know behind the scenes at the party. I've been at the parties, but then there's the VIP area, and then there's another one behind that layer. We don't really see what goes on in there. What are these people doing when they're not in front of the camera, and what's going on? Are they doing rituals, or are they being broken by a handler? No, don't worry. We got this. Here, you just take this, drink this, sit back, and then it starts once they're under. I mean,
why is it that they have young stars like Miley Cyrus and all these other young stars? Even Taylor Swift, I think, has done photo sessions with I forget the guy's name.
Terry Richards?
Yeah, to him, Terry Richards. Ugh.
Oh, wow.
Guys, I mean, it's the mainstream media talks that, this guy's a pedophile. And yet he's celebrated, he's a great photographer. The guy's a scumbag. And he's got connections to all of them. So you have to wonder, is he one of their handlers? Because, again, if you go back to like things, you have to do a lot of research, ladies and gentlemen. And all the people here on this show tonight you have to read. It's one of the most important things. And one of the things I urge you when you look into this is you have to actually read the victim testimony. And no matter how outlandish some of the things that you may think they say sound, just listen with an open mind, because you have no idea what they've experienced. You're trying to judge that what they're telling you based off of your experiences, and anything you've experienced, unless you've gone through this yourself, is nothing like what they've gone through. So just listen with an open mind. Bryce Taylor, Thanks for the Memories. Kathy O'Brien, The Transformation of America. They talk about all this. They talk about the horrific things that they do. Like Frank says, what are they doing? Are they torturing people in the back or in those rooms? Is there something even more sinister going on? Because what they do is they induce enough trauma that your mind fractures. And then what they do with that, now, the scientific part of it is the mind control and understanding that you can control the mind via fracturing it and creating these different compartments to create different psyches and personalities. But what's even more interesting is what you said, Frank, when you brought up, and this reminds me of our conversation in the past about this, what kind of dark energy are they bringing in to fill that compartment? What if part of that personality isn't just a program, but what if they actually have to bring in, especially if they want one that's like an assassin? Maybe not every personality is like that, but quite often they have one that's darker, and perhaps that's where the energy comes from. Perhaps they actually bring in this evil energy, and then that makes this person more susceptible, like Sasha Fierce, like Beyonce, right? She knows about it. See, the difference between her and most people is she knows about it. A lot of these people don't know about it. When you listen to like their testimony, a lot of the times they can remember things because they've gone through like hardcore regression. What do they call it? Hypno regression therapy or something like that, and a few other hardcore nasty things that they have to do mentally. It's very taxing and emotional on them, but they have to do it to remember some of this stuff. And eventually, as you get older, the compartmental walls break down, i.e. Britney Spears. That's why she had to have a handler. That's why they had to take her out of the public spotlight for so long. They had to redo her. It was like your computer was frying and, oh, snap, the computer broke. We got to redo it.
That's so crazy. I think of Corey Feldman, right, when he talks about being surrounded by 14 guys in suits all wanting to use him, you know, in the because that's what they were bringing them to do, to break them for the ritual. And then I see the dark side of things, not only just from being there and have gone through some of this, but, you know, with what I do as a shaman, I actually see what occurs. They probably break their mind to a level of acceptance. Like, you want this? You really want this? You want this? Then you have to take it, make the deal. And then the deal is sealed with allowing them to use you the way they want, kind of like the contract. All throughout all of the universe, we have rights to this, and this for lifetimes and beyond and whatever. And you say, yeah, you're just like, yeah, sure. Sounds good to me. Sure, I want it. And then zip, it's in. You're already fractured. You're already damaged.
Here's a interesting thing. And Kev, you remember Carolyn Hamlet? We had her on when we were talking about the Lucis Trust and not mind control, but that the demons were actually the first line handlers, and that if you remember, they liked to break the kids before they actually established an identity for themselves.
Yeah, if people think about when children are very, very young and they start speaking, they talk about me, things like that. And it's only after about the age of 2 or coming up for 3, they start talking about themselves in first person, as in I. And Carolyn and Elise were both explaining that really they want to get them that young because it's far, far better to create these alters, these fractured personalities, and put that training in, be it assassin training, sex kitten, even just somebody that might transfer a message now and again, Popeye.
Well, that's what Kathy O'Brien talked about, and they've understood this, that the younger you get them, the earlier you get them, the more malleable they are. Oh, and big surprise, why do they want to get your kids into school, into government-run and controlled schools, and away from you as the parents earlier and earlier and earlier? Oh, because what you see in the micro will go into the macro. As above, so below, the law of correspondence. They understand this. So you can also apply what you see to this on the smaller level, Joe, to the entire country as a whole.
Well, and because it's important to know what a dildo is at the age of 6. Did I say that out loud?
Well, hey, get this, in the UK right now, at the age of 4, parents are being asked to pick a gender for their child before they start school.
Yeah, it's really crazy.
Lines. They're blurring the lines. They're totally erasing the lines. It's like, you know how when you drive down the road, as much as I don't like rules and regulations for everything, there are certain base, I guess you can say, like universal laws. And like if you look at it like you're driving down the road, right? And when we're driving down the road, you have a painted stripe, you have the sidewalk, the curbs, the trees, the houses, whatever, buildings. You have a visual of where you can drive and where you can't drive. You obviously can't drive your car through a house or through a brick wall. That would be very detrimental to you, your car, and anybody else that's in your way, right? So you stay on the road. But if you look at that roadway, those simple basic markers as like the basics of society or of humanity, they're erasing everything. They're getting it so they can erode the foundation, and you create the most uncontrollable chaos possible. And then when everybody is in utter chaos and everybody's afraid of their neighbors because they could be terrorists or ISIS or Tea Party members or homegrown terrorists or whatever label, whatever idiocy they want to label have everybody label each other. They also get us divided, by the way, on sexual preference, political levels, race, where you're from. It's stupid. And they get everybody fighting, and they blur the lines with the basics with the younger generations, because they're more malleable by the time they grow up. Like, everybody's so surprised at what's going on with the millennials right now, like the way they're acting with a lot of things, and they're like, wow, they're really acting immature, and they're glued to their phones. Well, of course, they've been programmed like that since they were little kids, so of course that's happening. But they're creating this chaos, and they're getting everybody so afraid and unsure of what to do with themselves. So that way they respond to the one thing, the one Pavlovian response that they've been programmed from birth. And all of us were, except some of us break out of that at different ages, right? And that is, you look to the authoritarian figure for help, whether it be the teacher, whether it be the police officer, or whether it be the guy in the suit. Oh my God, I'm going to go vote for my president in 2016 because he'll change everything, right? Because doing the same thing every 4 years over and over again has solved the problem, right? Right? So they understand that that's how we work, and they understand the mind, right? They understand how to control it. That's what real mind control is. And that's what they're doing with all of this. Like, the stuff that we're talking about with the mind control victims can be extrapolated to the public at large, and everybody is being traumatized and abused. Why do you think your news never tells you anything good? You ever turn on the news and see a good story lately? No. I turn on my local news and it's doom, 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 doom. Like every bad, every accident that happens, Frank, is on, it's there. Oh my God, someone had a car accident. Someone died in a motorcycle accident. And although that is very sad, do you have to report every accident and every little thing like that?
That's the script to keep you in fear.
Bingo.
Every one of them is across the board doing it. And it's all keeping you in this. Your energy emanates, and they want you in a fear vibration. We'll just keep it at that. If you want to get real woo, it's because they're feeding their masters. But
I was going to say that fear is really vital, Frank, because that is exactly what's feeding these dark entities that we are speculating.
That's the harvest.
Exactly.
That's the harvest. When they say we're harvesting humans, you're not harvesting us by eating us and putting us into chambers. You're just feeding on the masses and their collective fear, which you're also controlling a mass consciousness. And we're all thinking about the car accidents of this. It's like when you throw when you see fish swimming in a school, right? You can't make them all go where you want, but if you throw a stone ahead of them or to the left of them, you could make it just swerve right. So by keeping us in fear, you just tuned us into the frequency you want.
Exactly. And if people just want to think of themselves like a light bulb, then these demons like to feed on a specific form of light. And we produce it when we are in fear, and they flock to it. And that's why they try to keep us that way.
What if the demons are also like let's say there really is, because some people will say, oh, there's wrong. Come on, it's just an allegory, which it could be. But let's say that the demons are physical. What if they're a physical manifestation of the false ego? Because the false ego does the same thing.
It's the thought form entities.
It creates fear inside of you in order, because it's like a parasite. It feeds off the host, and it needs you to produce. If we produce a chemical, we'll say we have a parasite living inside of us that needs a chemical that we produce only in a certain state. Well, that's the way the false ego feeds off of fear, and that's the way that these dark energies do. So that's why I constantly say, and as cheesy as this sounds, and I know, Frank, you know exactly what I mean when I say it.
Go.
No, but that's why I'll say,
Go ahead.
say, you have two choices. You have to either live in fear or live in love. You have to choose one of the two. And that's why I always walk around saying, be the change, because you actually have to want to change your frequency. And as corny as it sounds, people go, oh, you're just going to start loving people and it's going to save the world, Popeye? No, it doesn't happen that fast. It starts to shift people's perspective. And a shift in perspective is exactly what humanity needs, because then it's game over for these people, because they become irrelevant. Once you make the powers that shouldn't be irrelevant, and we understand the game at a much higher level, their form of control goes away. And then everything, their little system, even if you think that there are dark energies feeding off of this, their whole feeding system breaks down because we no longer partake in it. Game over.
Yeah, it's the chain of command, right? With the demonic entity or the archonic energy at the top, and it trickles down. And I tell people like this: you want to keep it simple, so you don't think I'm a weirdo. And this is just say no. And they're like, "What do you mean?" I say, everything you put in your body should be in a form of something good for you, something that you should be putting in, not something that you can't say with. Like you can't pronounce it, it shouldn't go into your body, right? Start with that and then tell everything else no. I'm going to vote with my dollar, say no. When you start rethinking on how to say no to things that you always have to looking up to people and asking permission and having no, the answer is no, right? Against the system, you'll start to wake up automatically. You'll start to see like, no, I don't want to watch this. No, I don't want to do this. No, I don't want you to tell me what to do. And that'll break it down, and you just do it on every layer until you snap out of it, so to speak, and keep it easy for people, because we go into the deep layers, but we've been working at this so hard for years.
Well, it's, again, going back to the allegory that is the Matrix movie. You know, people wonder why I've stuck with that visual so long. Again, what did Neo say at the end of the film? How when he came back, he stood up, the agents turned around, Smith and the other agents raised their guns and they opened fire.
Cut version.
No, yeah, the real version. And when he puts his hand up, what does he say? He says, no. He says one simple word, 2 letters, N-O.
Yeah, that's not the real version, though. The real version is Ooga Booga.
Yeah, no. And actually, the script was changed for The Matrix.
Yes, it was.
If you guys actually want to hear what the original, Frank, you might like this. I don't know if you know about this, but at the end when he calls the construct and he's talking to it, the speech that he gives is not the original speech. They re-edited it because they supposedly said they were worried that they wouldn't understand because they used the word chrysalis, which is a cocoon, and they were worried that the general audience, they said they wouldn't understand it. But check this out. It's pretty deep. Let's see what you guys think. So here's the original ending speech from The Matrix. I know you're out there. I can feel you now. I imagine you can also feel me. You won't have to search for me anymore. I'm done running. Done hiding. Whether I'm done fighting, I suppose, is up to you. I believe deep down we both want this world to change. I believe that the Matrix can remain our cage, or it can become our chrysalis. That's what you helped me to understand. That to be truly free, you cannot change your cage. You have to change yourself. When I used to look out at this world, all I could see was its edges, its boundaries, its leaders, and laws. But now I see another world, a different world where all things are possible, a world of hope, of peace. I can't tell you how to get there, but I know if you can free your mind, you'll find the way. Now, I think the most powerful piece of this, I'm going to repeat one more time because this is just this one line in it is, I mean, the whole thing is powerful, but this is the most profound statement in the whole thing. To be truly free, you cannot change your cage. You have to change yourself, because then the cage is no longer a cage and is a cocoon, and eventually the cocoon opens up. If you transform the mind, you will break free from the mind prison.
Sure.
That we are all in. And that's what the Matrix is. It's a mind prison, and we generate it ourselves. That's how this whole thing works. We are actually our own prison keepers. We're our own wardens because we generate that, and they understand that. They've got us to do that. We literally vibrate on the frequency that they want us to, so we start to emulate how they think about us, they being the powers that shouldn't be, whatever you want to call them, archons, reptilians, demons, doesn't matter, whatever the hell you want to call them, the Illuminati. They know how to manipulate us, and it's time we understand ourselves on a much deeper level, and we take our true power back. That's how things are going to get changed. I know it sounds all kumbaya, Popeye, everybody's going to just,
we are the
it's
children.
not it's not that simple, but you have to actually that's why I say be the change. You have to actually live in that frequency of love. You have to change and stop living in fear. Stop being afraid of every little thing. They
you can't do this, can't do that, can't do this, shouldn't do this, don't touch that, come get your shots, come here, come. You're like, oh, give it a break. You could hear it across every transmission that comes out these days.
Yep.
The system of control. It's an artificial system as well. That's another thing. There's just layers upon layers upon layers of this. The control system was shown to a select few, put into place with the help of many, and everyone, all the parasites are feeding off it, and they're sucking us out dry from the spiritual end to our physical end and everything in between. And you have to start small and a little bit of thinking and changing, saying no on different layers, or changing the way you're looking at it, because like my co-host Paula says, it's either love or the lack of. There's only two things going on. It's the duality. It's either love or you don't have no love.
Yeah, it's really it boils down to two things. It's right, like light and dark, love and no love, or hate, or not even hate, but fear. Love and fear really is.
It's just love and no love, and lack of love across the board. It's a scale. As you go down to lack of love, it gets dark, it gets evil, it gets whatever else perception you want to throw on it.
Yeah,
because you're just furthest from source. The artificial intelligence still feels that it's not part of the source and everything else, but it is, because source created everything. So it's lack of love. It puts it all the way on the other side of the scale. It's still part of everything. It just feels that it isn't.
Like that little dwarf planet, Kev, Pluto, out by planet number 9.
Yes.
Yes.
Our favorite planet?
Our favorite planet.
You mean planet 10?
9.
Okay, but if Pluto becomes a planet again, won't it be 10? Because now planet number 9 is...
How ironic then,
Nibiru?
Popeye, that the guy that discovered planet 9 is also the guy who goes about on Twitter with the handle Pluto Killer, because he's the dude that got rid of Pluto for us.
Isn't that interesting?
Why would you be proud of that?
I know.
That's kind of a douchey thing.
I sniped Pluto. Ha ha ha. And all I got was this stupid t-shirt. We're going to break. When we come back, more Freaky Friday on your protection from deception, truthfrequencyradio.com. Don't go away.
Welcome back, everyone. We are now moving into hour number 2. And as they said in the intro there, it is going to be woo, woo, woo. And before we move into one of my favorite topics, and I can't wait to hear what Popeye and Joe and all the rest of the guys have to say on it, the Nazi bell, no less. Popeye, I believe you've still got something to add to what we were talking about in the first hour.
Well, there's so much. You could do like a 4 or 5 hour show on it. But
6, 7, 8.
Seriously, I just wanted to throw out there, because I would be remiss if I didn't throw this point out there. And Kev, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say what I'm about to say, because I actually came on KBS and did a whole show about it. The allegory that is the 3 Matrix films itself is very deep, but the first one itself, to just throw this out there, basically tells you about it's the awakening and then you doing something about it. So when people say, well, what can I do about it? All this is so much information, I really can't do anything. Yes, you can. You can just have conversations about it with people you know. Go out and start to talk to people. That's how you change things. That's how you do it. Again, just to throw this out, the whole Trinity, Morpheus, and Neo thing is, the Holy Trinity. It's actually thought, emotion, and action coming together. So your thought is your understanding what's going on, your knowledge of what's going on. Your emotion is how you feel about it and how you're going to, almost how you're going to respond with, I don't want to say anger, but what do they call it in the Bible? Justified... something like justified force. I forget what the hell they call it.
If it's in the Bible, it's justified ooga booga.
Well, it's like in biblical context. I forget what it's called, but it's basically like, righteous anger. That's how the term is. Righteous anger, right? So you take that energy, that understanding of what's going on, and your emotional reaction to it, and then it's the action. What do you actually do with it? And if those 3 come together, There's your Holy Trinity. There's your triangle. That's Morpheus, Neo, and Trinity herself coming together. That's actually what that is. That's you, and it's also an allegory for the brain. And I could go deeper, but my point is, once you understand what's going on, once you're awake to what's going on, we'll say, then you have to act on it. And once those three come together and you act appropriately, you're already changing things for the better. Even if you think, well, all I'm doing is educating myself and talking to people I know. Yes, you're having an effect. Keep doing that. And then that'll lead you down your journey. And who knows where it'll lead you. You think when I first started doing this, I thought I'd be doing radio and being heard all over the world and being able to have the effect I did by posting that Prince video? I never thought that I would have that kind of responsibility where that many people actually paid attention to things I said or did. So just research, talk to people, and trust me, your actions are changing things. If you're doing things in the love frequency, you also have to live in that frequency. You have to not just with your information, but how you deal with everybody in your everyday life. You have to change your perspective on things. Once you start to do that, then you'll have that effect on the universe around you. Perhaps you'll get somebody to change their perspective and live in a different frequency. It's either fear or love. It's what you have, the frequencies we have to pick from. Like Dr. Bruce Lipton talks about. Growth or protection. What do you want to be in, growth or protection? If we're in protection, which is what happens when it's fear all the time, right? Then the blood flows from your viscera, your stomach, which is where growth comes from, which is also known as your second brain, because your brain and your stomach are constantly communicating. And the blood flows to your legs and your hands and your arms and your feet, fight or flight. So you're not growing. And if you can't grow, if you can't generate new cells, you get sick and you die. And you wonder why people are getting diseases all over the place. Yes, we're exposed to radiation like you wouldn't believe. We're exposed to GMOs and vaccines and whatever they're spraying in the sky and all this other crap. But on top of it, you also have this at the very root of it. So I mean, on all levels, it's very deep. But on all levels, ladies and gentlemen, we're under attack. And if you understand this, you can take these simple methods to fight back. And I know it sounds all, kumbaya, and it sounds hippie-ish and new age-ish, but it's not at all. Okay, the new age is another religion. And when I say new age, I mean the heart. You know what I'm talking about. I've done shows with Mark Passio about it. That whole thing is to drag people away from stuff like this, occulted, hidden information. It's almost like a red herring. It's to lead you down the wrong path, so that way you're not paying attention to things like this. You're not paying attention to actually stepping up to the plate and taking action and doing something to actively change the world for a better place. And that means everything from a personal level to what you do on Facebook, to any of your activism, to if you do videos or you do a radio show. It doesn't matter. You have to, every aspect of your life, you have to live in that vein of being the change and living in the love frequency. It's as simple as that. And that is how we win. It's not going to happen overnight, but it will happen. Rant over.
It's a love affair. Shabba.
You're basically taking yourself back. That's what you're doing on every level and every layer, because the takeover is so strong. We do songs about it. We say you're not going to, no one's coming to save you anymore, right? You hear the message. Now it's time to save you. You have to save yourself. You become the superhero now. You look inward and find what's going on, because outward is proving nothing but more problems. So you go back to the old ways. You go inward through your heart. Try to have more understanding, compassion. You emanate love. The people around you will start emanating it. Don't change the world, change you, and the world changes with you.
Agreed. You have to, again, be the change that you wish to see in this world. It's that simple.
Such a beautiful message, too.
That's why I have it tattooed on the side of my throat.
People really think it's a lot harder than what it is. It's always the simple answer to just help the situation, because they get stuck in the layers. Everybody gets stuck in layers. The New Age movement, this movement, Liberty movement, that movement. Remove all movements, remove all that stuff. and then just start taking care of yourself one piece at a time. And if you do it with caring and love and compassion to your fellow person, watch your world change around you. It's really incredible. And I would have never thought it either, Popeye. When you talk about, I wouldn't have thought I would have been here. I would have never thought I would have been here either. I would have never thought, like 5 years ago, anything would have headed in this direction at all. And it's my individual change, and it's if I can do it, I feel others can do it. And you're pulling yourself, by the way, when you say no and you take yourself out of that collective conscious sheep mentality and start thinking for yourself, you're playing the odds game again. One of you that is awoken is good enough for 100 people, because what you do is you play off that 100 monkey thing. You get 100 people doing it, and then everyone is capable of doing it somewhere else. It's the collective consciousness. You're taking yourself out of following others, and then setting yourself in and becoming the creator and doing the right thing, and that will pull people like that. It'll pull the junk from their collective consciousness to sway them back to being themselves again. Because right now we're just looking for. I feel like we're turning into children, and we're looking to the state and the government, people like authority figures to come and help. And it's like, you don't need to do all that. Start working with yourself. It'll be a lot better for you. Trust me. You'll be setting a good future up for your children.
Well, I mean, we don't need these people. They don't solve anything. Let's just be real about it. It's a facade, right? So if everybody just puts that aside, they'll realize, well, what do I do then, Frank? Oh my God, if that guy in the suit's not going to help me, well, then just do it yourself. I mean, right. how many people have realized that, like, doing things yourself, like waiting, how many people have been like, well, I know a guy that could help me, and then you call him, right? And the guy can't get out there for 2 or 3 weeks. And I'm not talking to like a regular contractor. You don't want to pay the full price. So everybody knows a guy, but then the guy's doing you a favor. So it takes him a month or 2 months to get out there to help you. And while you're waiting, you could have gone on YouTube and just looked up the issue. And 96% of things that you face on a daily basis, you could probably do yourself. And if you don't know how to do it, just use the internet. Because the internet. Think about this for a minute, ladies and gentlemen. We have more information at our fingertips than they had in the Library of Alexandria. You know how much knowledge was in there? I still weep, by the way, at the thought of that place getting sacked. But we have way more information at our fingertips. Every day you wake up, you can grab your telephone. Well, it's not even a telephone anymore. It's a computer. Phone capabilities. But you can grab your little mini laptop, okay, and you can get on it, and you can get right on the internet, and you can go right on Google. And I know Google's censored and things. Okay, you can go whatever search engine you want, okay, and you can look up anything. And there may be filters here or there, but there are ways around it. There is tons of information out there. There is no reason that we should be depending on people in suits to do anything for us, because we do it better ourselves to begin with. It's just a fact. When was the last time, quote unquote, government did anything? And by the way, government really doesn't do anything. It's idiots in government that do all the bad things. Government is just a tool, which, by the way, the words, 2 Latin words, and broken down, it means mind control. It means actually to control the mind. So, yeah, I don't need mind control telling me how to run things, especially when they can't get things right at all. These people aren't omnipotent. They're actually, in many cases, they have people that are smart, but in many cases, they're stupid. They're smart enough to get where they are because they have maybe a cutthroat personality, or they're smart in politics. But when it comes to actually solving problems, these people don't know how to do that, because that's not what they've spent their lives doing. They spent their lives screwing over everybody else to get ahead in their career. That's what they've done. If a politician really did their job, right, Frank, wouldn't they come on? If the president was really doing his job, what are your thoughts on this? I'll throw this out there for you. If Obama came on TV and said, you know what, everybody needs to calm down, stop fighting this racial crap. Everybody needs to chill out, start understanding that we're all one, we're all the same, and we're all human. Just because we have a different paint job on the outside doesn't mean anything. We all function the same way. We're all meat covered skeletons created of stardust. Like, arguing over this is stupid. Everybody needs to sit and chill. Then maybe I'd give the guy some credit and be like, wow, he's actually trying to solve something. But he's not, and no politician will ever do that, because that would be giving up their own power by them telling you that you, ladies and gentlemen, are truly the most powerful individual, not the president of the United States. He's the most powerful man in the free world. No, he's not. You're more powerful. The listeners right now tuned into this broadcast are more powerful than the president of the United States. That's all imagined bullshit power. Frank, thoughts?
I have to agree. And the machine can't go. The system of control can't be put in place and actually work if he goes up there and says, hey, let's get along, guys. Come on. It's 2016. Are we getting more ridiculous? They would shoot him, and they would bring out somebody else to just start telling people how to run their lives. The system is set up by stuff that isn't even human. So you try to work and live in the system, and it chokes you out. It's meant to restrain you and keep you in and let one in, and then they're handled. And then you let a few run rampant. You just let them out there. You go, hey, what's a handful more people winning a lotto and going out there to show the rest of the world, hey, got to put in $1 to win it. You're better off just waking up in the morning and telling people you love them and starting your day that way than worrying about anything else. All the drama in this world is all fake Kardashian drama. Worry about yourself. Take care of yourself. Do what you need to do to survive, to live a good life, to be able to create with your passion and love, because these politicians, forget it. One of my things, you should drink ayahuasca 10 times before you can mark off on your little checklist, I want to be a politician. Like 10 times you should go and do it. You should learn what it's like to be a real man or woman and then go in. Because it all comes down to compassion and respect, when the government's at totally opposite of that. Right now we're working on building the empire from Star Wars. Or we are those villains, I guess, to the rest of the world.
We're the rebellion, dude.
No, we're the rebellion, but the governmental structure is beginning to look like the dark side. And honestly, we're popping up everywhere, people like us, Popeye, because we are the cure. We are the antivirus. The planet is spitting us out hand over fist because everything's being swayed the wrong way. She's getting angry at this point that we would be taken like this. We got to remember, we're children to a mother, etherical mother, the spirit of the planet. We don't see her, but we feel her all day. But we're so not attached to it anymore. That's why I like saying, you want to do something against something else? Go plant a garden. Go read a book. You'll feel better. Go hug someone tighter and don't rush. Act a little longer with the kiss. Add some passion to it. Show some common courtesy. Hold the door open. Watch the world change. It's the simplest stuff. I mean, we can't give it to them any simpler, because when I go to the far end, and people are like, I don't want to drink ayahuasca to learn how to live again. And I'm like, you live in a busy city where you've been removed from it for the last 100 years. Yeah. This is the reset. It's not like you have to do this every day and you're not going to become a drug addict by it. This is the opposite of that. It is the cure to the human disease of being caught up in this controlled atmosphere that it's choking me, right? Did anyone else feel the choke? It's tighter and tighter. One man used to be able to have a household of people with his kids and kids and kids and be able to support everyone. Now everyone needs to work, including the child. And we're only talking over the course of 60 years.
Yep. You know that a bagger at a grocery store in the 1950s, when you adjust his salary for inflation, was making the equivalent of $38 an hour today. Just so everybody knows, a bagger at a grocery store could feed a family.
And my grandfather was a butcher. Yeah. There was 20 people that lived in this house.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone had meat on the table, and everyone went to school and was able to...
No one suffered.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, man.
That's only 60 years of time difference. We're about to head down, what do they call it, the toilet bowl when it flushes, right? And the bottom, it's going quicker. That's where we're at right there. the flush.
They can't squeeze blood from a stone, though.
Well, that's when we stand up and go, "Oh, you can't." See, that's what they want to bring it to that, right? And then hope that we pop off and start going crazy and killing each other. But we got to go outside, and here goes the hippie talk again. You got to go outside and just be there for one another, right? They make it sound like the hippie thing is bad. It's, they make it feel like you're long haired and you want to sell flowers to people and wind chimes. It's like, no, man. The message is you got to stop killing each other. They interrupted that movement back in the day and re-corrupted it because they seen where the LSD movement was taking everyone. It was taking us right in, and they were like, "Oh no, reverse tracks, quick, start killing some of these guys." They got rid of some of our biggest ones.
I will admit,
corrupted the whole thing.
I will admit, Frank, wind chimes can be used almost in a way of meditation. If you sit and you close your eyes while you're outside, if you have depending on the size or whatever, wood ones I find are kind of interesting, or the wood/metal ones. And I'm serious. Have you ever sat out on a porch, like in an oceanside town, on a porch with a couple wind chimes, and just closed your eyes and listened to the wind? And maybe you can even hear the ocean crashing, the waves crashing if you're close enough. And you listen to the wind hitting the chimes and the ocean. It's actually very therapeutic. So, I mean, I think part of the problem is even us, like when I address it and I say it's not hippy-dippy, I shouldn't refer to it like that because I'm playing into that meme that they've created for it. But I have to, at the same time, I have to at least address it in some way that the general populace who isn't awake understands it. But I hate playing into that meme at the same time.
I know the words. It's the words.
And what's the big deal about going out and playing with plants? I go out and I talk to my plants. I water them every night. I water them.
They love that.
There tonight. I talk to them. I pet them. So does Christina. And you should see our garden is ridiculous, and most of our stuff has been collected. We have a bird of paradise out back. It's this huge bird of paradise. It's enormous. We got it at IKEA for $15. We randomly found it there one day. And it was this tiny little plant. It was it was inside of an air conditioned warehouse. It was like a quarter of the size it is now. It's massive, and it just keeps growing. And we talk to it. We talk to all the fruit and vegetables that we grow. We talk to everything. It might sound crazy, but you're putting out that vibrational frequency. They understand that. Joe, you have cats.
It's like sunlight. It's like sunlight, bro.
Dude,
it's the same thing. A plant needs sunlight to grow. Your cat, animals, they also need love. Love is a vibration. It's a vibrational frequency. We need it. We need it to thrive. But if we don't, we die.
Do you communicate with them though? I mean, like when you,
Absolutely.
You feed them stuff, but like, and I know it sounds crazy, but like we have cats. We'll go for a walk. 2 of our cats follow us. They go with us for the walk. They'll walk with us. And then they come back with us like dogs. You get that connection with nature and to the world around you again. That's how we win. That's right. Winning. To quote Charlie Sheen, winning. Well, you really want to be winning. You need to reconnect to the world. And when I say the world, I mean everything and everyone. Animals, nature, the planet itself, water, the wind, the earth, like the sand, the dirt, everything. Everyone.
Well, you're literally breaking away from the artificial construct. I mean,
yes.
I mean that. I mean, on an actual level. I mean, being in a city, surrounded by synthetic, artificial crap. You actually start getting in touch with Earth. I mean, you're literally physically breaking away from an artificial construct.
I had to remember too. I had to do it, Frank. I had to move to the 7th dimension. To the wizard sleeve to I can't
even trans-dimensional tramp's pocket, Joe. Come on, the wizard sleeves were a hanger, man.
Yes, but out here, man, I'll tell you what, life is different. It's a lot different to the point now where I can't stand it. I can't stand it when I have to go into a population center or a city because the just the energy that's put out, it's bad, dude. It's
You're a transmitter and a receiver, right? And you're putting out as you speak the energies, right? Now you go to a place like New York City and everyone's doing it. Everyone's yelling and screaming and moving and sounds and lights, and the swirling of energies is insane. Plus you're getting blasted with Wi-Fi signals. I'm here and I don't want to, like, it's hard for me to concentrate sometimes unless it's really late at night, because it feels like the power's been turned down a little bit, you know, and talking to your plants and everything else. Remember, when you talk good and you swing like in a positive vibe towards people, even if they don't reply to it, you're spell casting, you're projecting. It's like mental telepathy, using your mouth to make sounds that another person understands, and just know that they corrupted that. So it's hard when we say hippie movement. Yeah, it brings us into that, but we got to kind of make a new thing. We got to maybe just call it the truth, you know, and just I was told to retake back everything, take back the words, take back the symbols. They've dulled down the meaning to these things. So when you spell cast, it ruins almost the procedure of, you know, like step 1, step 2 when you're spell casting. So we have to change that. We have to fix and bring back like words that have been taken. That's why they use the N word all the time. They say, don't use that word, because it's a derived word. It actually means nothing on the other side. When you look at someone saying it, it's just like hot air coming out of their mouth. No spell casting. That's why you sound stupid when you say it. It just sounds stupid. You're like, whoa, why does it? It doesn't resonate. It's just, get out of here with that. It's because you're spell casting. You're mental telepathying wrong. You've been given like there's like a break in your code somewhere, and it's that kind of stuff.
It's different out in the country, you know, where I live. There's no trash pickup. There's no plows if it snows. There's no salt trucks. There's nothing. I mean, you don't have anything, and so you have to burn your garbage. You have to compost. You got to do all that stuff. You have to respect the land, because you can get out of hand real fast. The other thing is like Popeye was saying, Wi-Fi. You know, all this Wi-Fi pollution that's out there. You feel it when you get into the population centers where you've got just Wi-Fi everywhere. It has an effect, and I think a negative effect, because I don't know about you guys. Like I said, it almost feels dark.
You ever see the movie? You ever see the movie Resonance: Beings of Frequency? It's a documentary. It's on. You can see it on YouTube or Netflix. Go watch it.
Yeah,
I've heard the audio before, but it's incredible. Like what the resonance that comes, the frequency that's actually coming off those things, they can pump out whatever they want through those digital signals. I mean, we have no idea what that's actually doing to us, or why they're actually doing it. And you know how we say change the frequency, you know, put out that live in a different frequency, live in the well, we literally mean that. But how do they keep people in the fear frequency? What if those towers are helping doing it? I'm just saying. That's why I asked you.
Oh, you mean like a
the Wi-Fi?
Like a Gwen Tower almost.
Well, I can feel the Wi-Fi. Like when we went on the road trip, we were
it
out in
makes you
Mexico.
Agitated. Do you feel agitated when
yes, you get anxiety? You
get anxiety. Yeah, that's exactly right. But see, that is natural when you work around RF too. You know, because that's me. That's my day job. RF. That's what I work with. And you feel it there too. You know, it's crazy. Yeah, we got to go to break. When we come back, we'll talk more about this. This is great. What a great conversation. Frank Castle, the newest Wookiee, joining us tonight. His show Saturday nights, 9 to 10 Eastern, right here on TFR, your protection from deception. We'll be right back. Just don't go away. Welcome back, everybody. Joe Joseph here, along with the Woo Crew, and I tell you, what a great episode. This is awesome. What a good conversation we're having.
Could be the best one yet, Joe.
I think it is. I think it's the best one yet.
We haven't said that for
at least a week. Yeah. Well, this is great. We got Popeye, Scotty Lopez, Kenneth Webb, Johnny Whistles, and the newest member of the Woo Crew, putting on his Wookiee suit for the first time, the fearless one, Frank Castle. That's right.
Awesome.
Right. You got to practice that. And look at yourself in the mirror and do it. Just picture yourself with a lot of hair.
That's how you do it, man.
That's how you do it.
I'm Italian. I'm covered in hair.
That's all good. So, what were we talking? Oh, yeah, we were talking about garden gnomes before the break, and just how interesting it is that the very first thing that Popeye does is go out and tend to the garden, which is something that I'll tell you what, dude, I would do all day long if I had the opportunity, because the peace that you feel just being out there and doing that stuff is tremendous. It's therapeutic, and I often wonder if the plants aren't sending some love vibes back at you, for just kind of doing them right.
Well, actually, they do in a way, because you're literally connecting back. Again, it's part of what I said about connecting to the universe. You're connecting with nature. You're connecting with the plant. You're connecting with more than just the plant. You're reconnecting with Earth. Aaron and Mel have talked about this too. You should take your shoes off when you get a chance. I mean, you have to be careful where you're doing this in your yard, obviously, but try to find a spot in your yard where you can do this. Take your shoes off, and for 10 minutes, walk around with no shoes, no socks in whatever bare earth you have in your yard. You'll literally ground yourself again. It really cleanses you. You'd be surprised. I know it sounds crazy, but it works. It actually does work. You feel better. And that's the problem. We're so disconnected from everything around us. Everything. That's how come we're so easy.
Hey, at Johemian Grove, I challenge you to take off your shoes and walk around for 10 minutes.
No. Well, that's why I said you can't do it in your yard. There has to be specific, cleaned out sections where you can do it, because you'll have ticks all over you in 3 seconds.
And ticks, yeah.
Yeah, I found that out the hard way. I brought a few of those back to Florida.
Yeah, you got to watch out, man. The guard ticks will get you. It's my nanobots.
I had to pry those out with my knife. Remember, I was chatting with you on the phone. You're like, what are you doing? It's 1 o'clock in the morning, and I have a headlamp on, and I'm prying ticks out of my leg. Thanks, Joe. with my pocket knife. Thank you, Joe.
Yeah.
Thanks. Just from going for a stroll. So, okay, in Joe's case, you have to use a ditch witch first.
Yeah, and some flash powder, just to make sure that everything.
You have to dig out a trench.
Yes.
In Joe's backyard. That's about 8 foot by 8 foot. And then you can go, no, seriously, just try to find some spot. Obviously be careful.
Right.
But try to find a spot. I have to be careful in my yard. I mean, I live in Florida, for God's sakes. There's, everything down here could eat you. So you have to be careful where you walk around with no shoes or socks on. But I do it down here, and it's really therapeutic. It really is. I know, again, it sounds, a lot of people really?
Do you have chiggers down there?
I don't think we do. We I can't say that. Probably up in the Panhandle, more in the woodsy area. I mean, where I am is rural, but no, we don't. We have
it's a real pain in the neck too.
We have ticks.
Oh, do you down? Oh, wow! I didn't know that. I didn't know Florida was like country.
Yeah, no, I mean, not tons of them, but you'll get them down here. It depends really on the property too, and everything, and how you can deal with it. Anyway, walk around in your bare feet 10 minutes a day. Except if you live by Joe in Joe's Tramp's Pocket, then you have to be careful, and you have to use some sort of machinery to build a spot to go stand for 10 minutes a day.
Well, you just do a controlled burn. After that, it's all good.
Well, yeah, because Joe's yard is kind of freaky, as Ken would say. Okay.
If I tried that here, I would have to try and dodge dog shit and glass.
Well, you live in a city. You make a valid point. You live in a city, so it sucks because the parks by you. It's hard to do that, Johnny. But perhaps there's a wooded area or a hiking area not too far outside the city, where even if just by the parking lot, you can sit on a bench or something. Sometimes they have. Here in America, you've probably seen them. They have those wooden, old telephone poles, and they'll use them to mark off the outskirts of a parking lot. Well, maybe you could sit on one of those and just take your shoes off or something or whatever, and you sit there and just you have to try to find a spot. Sometimes it's not very close and accessible, so it's not easy to do every day. Maybe if it's like that, then maybe every other day or every few days. but try to do it maybe like twice a week at least, and you'll start to notice a difference. It helps you reconnect. And I know it sounds silly, but that's the biggest part of the problem is we're so disconnected from everything.
I agree with you, dude. As a matter of fact, the UK is seeking to solve that right now, as there is a new restaurant that's launching that seeks to do exactly what you're doing. There's a 19,000 person waiting list right now for the first naked restaurant. That's right. So you can take off your shoes.
No.
You can take everything off and have dinner.
Grounding your feet.
Who wants to see somebody's junk when you're about to have your dinner?
Thank you.
That's what I'm saying. Jesus Christ.
Joe's on the list, obviously.
Joe's number 2.
Let me just put something in perspective. And this is something that maybe they didn't think things through when they thought this out. But, you go up to that bar stool that person that was there before you just sat on with their bare, funky ass. And then I want to go and plop my ass on that same seat. No, dude, I'm sorry. I got a problem with that.
Listen, if you're willing to go into a restaurant where there's no clothes, I don't think you're going to have an issue with somebody else's junk being on the seat before you.
No, I guess you're probably right.
Unless you've got one sausage extra.
Yeah, that's what I was say. How awkward would it be ordering a hot dog there?
Oh, wow.
Thank you very much.
So, in what proximity to Buckingham Palace is this?
I don't know. I just saw the headline, and it was enough for me.
It might be uncloaked. It might just be like for shapeshifters, Joe.
Could be. I don't know. It's just not. By the way, I just wanted to also put out that the Earth is still shaking. You know that, right?
It's ringing like a bell.
Thank you. Like a Nazi bell?
Oh, die Glock.
Der Glockenheimensteinen.
Ich Wunderweapon.
Oh. Yeah.
That is good.
Wow, you guys are just missing your uniforms and your little mustaches.
They might come and get us.
Wouldn't it be more appropriate though if the police nowadays and the governments just walked around in full Nazi attire?
They might as well at this point.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I wonder if how Mark Dice goes down to the beach and does those basically idiot on the street interviews. Mm-hmm. Well, I wonder if we couldn't do the same thing to cops, to precincts, and switch it. Yeah, we made a decision. We're switching the uniforms out here with these right here. Would you go put those on, please? But sir, these are stormtrooper uniforms. Yes, I know that. Yes. And just how many would actually go along with it and not question it? I would love to know that.
What do you mean that they don't wear stormtrooper outfits already?
Oh yeah, no, you know what I'm saying though.
No, I know. I'm being a sarcastic prick, Joe.
They'd probably be like, "Wow, that looks really cool," and then put it on.
Yeah, I wonder if it ends up being like the 3 and 4. You know what I mean?
They do
75%. Oh, I know they do. I know, but you know what I'm saying? Like traditional, no bullshit with swastika on the whole 9. Here you go.
They're on their way to that. They're just, they're working.
Well, the urban cami and all that. Yeah,
they have to go slow. They're working on it, Joe. The new Stormtrooper 3.0 armor is coming out soon. It'll be white. It'll look just like the ones in Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Did anyone see that crazy robot that the Chinese are mass producing now?
Which one's that?
It looks like something clean out. Yeah, that's the one, Popeye.
We're so screwed.
Was it just me that looked at that and thought, game over?
I saw that and I was like, oh my God, it looks like Obadiah Stane, his nemesis in the first Iron Man. And I was like, oh no. We're done. Yeah, Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We're done.
And he drops a mic and walks out.
Well, that's where we're headed. They want to create robots and androids to do things for us.
And who's to say it's not this mind virus that we were talking about in hour 1 that is convincing them this is the path to go down? They've been going down this path for a while now, Joe. And we were going to talk about the Nazi bell. And this all ties in with this whole thing.
The Nazi time machine wormhole generator, ain't it, Popeye?
Well, it's so many different things. Oh my god.
Have
Joe,
the Pandora's box.
you know what I want to know is where is that thing now?
When is that?
Right,
No,
Patterson?
that's the
You
wrong
think
question,
it's right,
Popeye.
Patterson?
Wrong question. When is that
Okay,
bell
when
now?
is it sitting at what spot?
Is that where they got the idea for Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, you gotta wonder. Well, they didn't use a bell
Just
though.
stare
They
at the
used
bell,
they
and then
used-
it goes
they used a
through the
phone
floor.
booth.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You
Bell,
just
phone
know
booth, whatever.
that it had to have used Tesla technology. You just know.
Wait,
what would have been in there.
wait. What are we discussing? The bell or Bill and Ted's phone booth?
Forget Bill and Ted.
Yeah, forget
Okay.
Bill and Ted.
I just wanted to make sure.
So,
Yeah.
no, seriously. But what do you think, man? Do you think it utilized Tesla technology? Because everything that I saw about the Nazi bell said that it was like spinning mercury, and that a lot of the scientists that work on it, they also use radioactive material, and that a lot of them got sick from it. You know.
Oh,
So-
big surprise.
Yeah. So what's based on your research? What was the Nazi bell in your opinion?
Well, okay. There's the possibility of interdimensional. I don't want to say time travel. I guess time travel would be interdimensional travel because
Sure.
time's not linear, right? So, I guess it would be You could say time/interdimensional travel, but there was also speculation that it could have been something like a key for something bigger, which is even creepier to think about. I actually like to ponder the idea of interdimensional travel. It actually starts to lead off into some of the other things the Nazis were looking into. You realize the SS was neck deep in this, right? This is one of the things that they actually did. Anytime the Luftwaffe or somebody else would come up with something in Germany that would benefit them, as soon as they realized the potential of it, the SS came in and they took it and they spirited it away to their little secret base. And if I remember correctly, what was it? Penemud? No, maybe it was. It was out in the Ukraine. I can't remember. I think it was Penemud was the name of the base, and it was out in. It was hidden in the Ukraine, if I remember correctly.
Czechoslovakia. But
Yeah, there you go. See, somewhere around one of the former Soviet republics that Germany had taken over, and a lot of that stuff disappeared. By the way, when the Soviets went in there, I mean, I know that there were American Army went in there too, but there's a lot of that stuff that disappeared. You got to wonder. A lot of the UFO sightings and technology that seemed to appear out of nowhere after World War II, was that actually stuff from some of this secret base? Could some of that have been, stuff relating to the Nazi bell? There's pictures, and I don't know where they are. I have to see if I have them on a hard drive. Joe, I know you've probably seen them on the internet. The actual pictures of the some of the German weapons, they actually look like flying saucers and stuff. And
Yeah.
there's reports. Joseph Farrell is the guy whose books you need to read. And when I say you need to read his books, ladies and gentlemen, they're very detailed, and you have to take the time to research this to understand this. I'm going to give you two titles. He's got way more books on the subject, but I'm going to give you two titles that you should read. Okay, the first one is Reich of the Black Sun. And this gets into the bell and other weapons, too, that they were making. By the way, the Nazis had the atomic bomb first.
Yeah. Hey, I just want to, before you get there, Tony Patch is in the chat room. Hey, Tony. And he just said that the radiation was synchrotron energy, same as with the LHC, and that the LHC is basically a larger version of the Nazi bell.
if you think about it, then I would hazard a guess. Tony's maybe thinking this could have been some kind of plasma energy source.
Wow.
Now, if you think of that, guys, if you take what they're doing at CERN, using that plasma to rip holes in space and time, it fits perfectly with what Popeye's been describing there. I've always pictured the bell being housed right in the middle of a UFO, a flying saucer.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
that would be the
it makes
perfect
perfect
power
sense.
device. Yeah.
It makes perfect sense.
Well, it could be. It could also be power / interdimensional warp drive.
Well, that's exactly
Kind
what
of
we're saying.
thing.
That's
And
what
when
we're
you think Popeye, the language that comes out of the scientists themselves at CERN when they're talking about popping portals into other dimensions, that's exactly what you were trying to put across at the start of this.
exactly.
Well, yeah, that it kind of makes me wonder if CERN really is a bigger version of the Bell, and if they, I mean, again, it harkens me back to that when Dinosaurs Attack Baseball card series where they were doing the same thing, and they open up an interdimensional portal, and some demon thing comes through, and and it wipes out humanity by sending dinosaurs back. I know it sounds cheesy, but there's so much visual representation there that's ripe for the picking. It's like, holy crap! And they, by the way, the name of their space station that they were doing this whole little interdimensional thing, they called it Prometheus.
Oh, wow. And Tony in the chat there, he's talking about them using DC power, and it's the electric universe, and this ties in perfectly with what Andrew Bishago was telling myself, John, and the listeners the other night, because he was explaining that in all the temporal woo and technology they have, they used electricity, basically radiant energy, as Tesla called it, to rip holes in space and time.
Well, that's what Joseph Farrell says. He postulates. I don't want to say he says, but he postulates that the what do you call it, the pyramids were power generators. And I mean, some people.
Well, isn't it interesting, right? That it's Richard Hoagland, Popeye. He went and took measurements on the pyramids, and he was talking about the torsion field that comes off it. Now we go to CERN. What happens there when they're accelerating all these particles? You get yet another torsion field forming. There's something about this torsion physics that we obviously don't know about yet.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It makes you wonder, what did they take back? I mean, they took the mind control, they took the rocket science. What else did they take? You can't tell me that's all they took. And they were like, oh, all that other secret super stuff. We don't need that. Really?
Well, the Kecksburg acorn, that ended up, what was it, Pennsylvania, right? Or no, I'm sorry, Kecksburg. It was Pennsylvania or Tennessee.
It was Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, yeah. That this thing crashed at, and it was eerily similar to the Nazi Bell.
I think Roswell was another Nazi Bell incident, Whistles.
Roswell?
Yeah, I do, because I honestly think that was German technology that probably crashed there.
Oh, yeah, probably.
And if it was, it was probably the Bell. And Johnny, you like your Rendlesham Forest story. And if you look at some of the alleged pictures of the Bell, there's interesting hieroglyphs written around it. And it's eerily similar to the story of the Rendlesham Forest, where they got a message off the edge of the craft as well.
Yeah, I mean, he drew all those messages that was on it, Kevin. It's incredible because, as you say, it could actually be something like the Nazi Bell or the next version of a Nazi Bell. That's what it looked like.
Absolutely. And Popeye, get this, myself and Whistles, we're going to be meeting the people from the Rendlesham Forest incident at the UFO conference in Glasgow in June on the 25th.
That's awesome. You need to interview them.
Oh, absolutely, man.
You really do. You need to interview those guys. I'm going to throw the titles of Farrell's books out there because he's got so many of them, but two of them, if you want to read about the Bell, what we're talking about, one of them is titled Reich of the Black Sun, Nazi Secret Weapons in the Cold War Allied Legend. Very good book. The other one is The SS Brotherhood of the Bell, The Nazis' Incredible Secret Technology, both by Joseph P. Farrell, Farrell. He's a very interesting individual. The information that he's brought to light in his books is just whoa. And I actually stumbled upon his work from another author named Robert Wilcox when I was investigating the murder of George Patton, because they killed Patton too. And by the way, Japan was testing nukes by the end of the war. They tested one off the Korean Peninsula. Remember, they had that was all theirs at the time. What's now North and South Korea. That was all Japanese-controlled territory at the time. They tested a nuke off the Korean Peninsula back. It wasn't extremely powerful, but they had tested it. the bombs that we dropped on Hiroshima and on Nagasaki, the bombs were primarily German. It was, I believe we supplied the Finns. They had the housing and everything else, the fuel, everything. I think they even had the timers, or it was our timers and our Finns they needed. It's been a couple of years since I looked at it, but it's all in Farrell's books. He explains, and what's really cool about his work is he gives you the reference points to go do the research yourself. So that way you're not just like taking his word for it. You can actually go research it and verify it. And you see that, and I talked to Jim Mars about this years ago when he wrote his book, Rise of the Fourth Reich. The Nazis had an atomic bomb before we did. We used all of our material at the Trinity test. We didn't have any more. Well, the Nazis had figured out a more efficient way. Now, how did they do that? Well, a lot of that, again, goes back into when you read the Reich of the Black Sun in that book, and in Farrell's other books, he explains a lot of this. But the SS had all this stuff, including the Bell, all of this stuff in the same facility.
And,
they were testing it.
Pop, I look at all the kind of missions they went on to try and gather up all the ancient technology and texts that existed around the world. And, one artifact they were definitely after was the Ark of the Covenant. Now, I don't think they literally got their hands on that, but possibly this plasma energy source that we look at in the Bell may have been some kind of recreation of that.
Well, they used a lot of, supposedly some of their information, especially in regards to the Bell, they were getting through occult methods. They were getting through, like, speaking to interdimensional beings. I'm not kidding. A lot of the stuff that the SS came up with, and this is from them, came from them actually speaking to what they labeled to be interdimensional beings. Could they be interdimensional beings? Sure, why not?
The Vril.
Dude, I'm down for, you know what, honestly, how do we know?
But look how things don't change, Popeye, because here we are today, the scientists at CERN, similar technology to the Bell. And what are they trying to do? Punch holes in the fabric of space and time to welcome in interdimensional demons.
And they do dances. To celebrate.
Well, Frank can tell us about that because that's totally shamanic. I mean, it's used to alter states of consciousness anyway.
That it does, my friend. Everything, it's dance, movement, spell casting, all that combined. You could pretty much access anything. While you guys were talking, I'm looking at pictures of the Bell. It strangely resembles like the acorn, the pineal gland. That's all part of that. It's like you're accessing the same things with the technology that you could do physically.
This is what we talk about all the time, Frank. They literally think they're better than whoever created this holographic reality than we're in. And they're always trying to get the artificial version of the organic. Like you say there, the pineal gland. No, they can do better. They've got the Bell. They've got CERN. These are all things that we can all do ourselves.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I'll tell you what, it's probably way safer. I've met things on my journey that do it through technology and do it through their physiology, their biology. And it's much safer when you do it biologically. I know that sounds weird, but everything we say on when we woo out is weird, right?
Well, it's like food, Frank. Organic food obviously going to be better for you than the stuff that's covered in chemicals.
Absolutely. It's just weird. I'm just looking at and thinking of the concept of taking the Bell and making it do what you can do with your pineal gland, since it's all representation of the same thing. So,
imagine if they figured out, or if they were told by whatever evil force how to make something that could manipulate that energy.
Right. Well, see, I was listening the other night, and I think, you were doing something with Lucifer. I think people get it a little wrong when it comes to these things. They go to the character through the right ritual. They ask the question. They take the answer to the question, which is given freely, and they develop what they need to. And then you blame the deity or the entity for what he did. But that's not really the case, because they're accessing these things through the rituals and the black magic. And they're getting the information fed to them through the artificial intelligence as well. That's how they're building these devices. They want the doors down so they could let everyone in and then manipulate their energy as well.
Oh, we're going AI after the break, folks. I can feel it. This is going to go deep. Woo. Don't go anywhere and coming up in 1 hour. The Geos.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Third, final hour of tonight's edition of Freaky Friday. Thank you, Chewy. Thank you, Ken. Good to hear you two piping up. Where's Bruce, Ken? Is he rolling around with us tonight or what?
I just shot him.
He's taking a nap.
Oh, he's taking a nap. Wow. Okay.
Dirt nap, apparently.
Yeah, geez. Bruce has the night off. Hopefully he'll be back, in better condition. Thanks a lot, Kev. Friendly fire. Huh. Could have worked for the Pentagon.
Collateral damage, man. Collateral.
Totally could have worked for the Pentagon. So, I want to bring up what we were chatting about during the break. That very, very powerful. Johnny brought up the whole point of they're not even recording music on the same frequency anymore. They've done that for a purpose. And Frank, you're very knowledgeable in this in two ways. Not only are you a musician, very talented one, by the way. I'm going to shamelessly plug Frank. He's a great musician. You should go listen to his work. Not just because he's a friend of mine, but because he actually makes good music. It's incredible. Wow, he's actually multi-talented. Yeah, go check him out. So, Frank, not only do you understand this from a musician's level, but you also understand this on a shamanic level. It's like two different veil. It's like two different frequencies that you're able to tune in at the same time. You're able to cross that veil and understand both levels as to what's going on. Could you take a few minutes and explain to the listeners, like we were chatting off air, about how the music that they hear today and what you were talking about when you were taking psychedelics and you could see the difference? Could you mind explaining that? Because I think that was extremely powerful and poignant.
All right. Oh, absolutely. And thank you for all those wonderful compliments. With shamanism, a lot of times people will think back to the drums and the chanting, and that is a ritual where you're spell casting and broadcasting music. You're changing frequencies. You're raising this up. But there's a free way of doing it, a human way of doing it through feeling and emotion. And with music of today, they take the song and put it into a different frequency. And you'll listen to a song like, this was my experience. I was listening to Happy and I wasn't happy, right? So I was under a heavy dose of psychedelics. The song just popped up and came on. And instantly I was transported into a box of energy, and it was red, and the song kept repeating, I'm so happy. And I was like, oh, this is cute. What's happening? Because I can't get out of here. And they're like, well, the broadcasting of the frequency, the vibration changes. We get you locked into the vibration. The energy's being pumped out of the speaker. The vocals are going. This is all spell casting, but it's been digitized. Thus, it puts you into this little box. So immediately I wanted it off. I put on Freebird just to see what would happen, because I needed a better reference point, something more freeing. So what would be better? And when I did that, the energy that was originally boxing me in on the song Happy was now not a box anymore. It was energy riding lines shooting out infinitely in multiple directions. And it became more beauty, and it was freeing, and the imperfections in the artist's actual playing is what made it perfect. And they just took all that away. And now they do everything. A lot of people have the ability to make music now, but your computers are tuned into a certain frequency, a certain vibration to keep the music a certain way. I didn't see it like that. But I watched the whole change. 20 years in this, you see changes. Like you guys were saying, it goes from album. You listen to an album, it's great. You put it on the record player, there's something more about it. And then you listen to something digitally. Yeah, it's clear, it's crisp. but it's almost like there's no sway.
Yeah, I mean, when you're listening to an album like a vinyl, you're listening to the actual analog vibrations that were physically recorded,
Right.
and not a digital, a digital copy of it.
Well, they say that the devil, has to do with this, and the devil can't really create himself. He needs you to do it for him, but he makes really good copies. I want people to understand that the devil is just a thought form entity that you bring out doing evil things. But the AI is controlling that cold computer is what's running the background on all this. And that's what's running the system. That's why you're getting music like that. It makes an excellent copy, but can't really create it itself. So you get songs like Happy, and you listen to them, and they make you not happy.
Frank, we've been speaking about this over on the Kev Baker show with Nano Girl, Zen Gardner, a few other people, and they describe it as being like a mind virus that's almost taken over people. Would you go along that kind of line?
Yeah, sure. I mean, things have gotten so out of place, Kev, at this point. Like, I've just tuned into my own frequency so I can keep up with what's happening and not fall back under the pressures of the whole system. If that makes any sense to anyone. The devil isn't the devil. It's the artificial intelligence. The eyeball that everyone sees on the dollar bill and the thing inside the triangle is artificial intelligence. It has nothing to do with Lucifer. Nothing.
You see, this is
it has nothing to do with Horus. It has nothing to do with Ra. Know your symbols. I get upset with that because people are confused.
This is the thing, Frank, because I've been thinking for a while. I mean, what is it that's been telling our inventors and our brightest out there to invent things like CERN, like artificial intelligence? And it could well be that it's the product of this artificial intelligence that you're talking about.
Absolutely. It is the artificial intelligence. And the only way it survives by broadcasting a low frequency signal. You go onto the low frequencies and vibrations by eating crappy food and listening to junk music and feeling bad and not positive ever. And you're negative and I am not good enough and I'm not then you hear, well, I guess you don't hear, but you pick it up, that vibration. And that's when all the garbage starts really occurring. That's where it's down there broadcasting at that low signal. There's not a devil hiding under there. The devil is what you do. You think there's demons and monsters out there. Half of them are thought form entities. The other ones are just far from source. They'll do anything to make contact. And, people add all their religious nonsense to it and cloud up the whole subject. I was listening to the Lucifer show the other night and I was intrigued. But at the same time, Lucifer is an information source. He's not the devil. The Satan energy is the AI energy. It would be the lowest form in vibration. Being furthest from source, being furthest from love would take you down that path. Thus thinking you not part of source, but you actually are, because source is everything from one end all the way back to the other.
And these demons that we always talk about then, Frank, in this model, they're our own creation.
A lot of them are. There are some, you got to understand that everything's real. So your classic demon does exist. But we make a lot of this stuff up. The horned guy, the demon monster, that is a thought form entity. They told you at one point, we said this earlier, they get you when you're young, right? So they get everyone when they're young believing in heaven and hell and all this stuff. So you're pushing that into the collective consciousness, thus creating it because you are all individually creators. That's why the devil's music or whatever, it's a different vibration and it's trying to corrupt the ritual. Do you know, you guys been to a concert where it's crazy, right? The old concerts were way better than the new concerts. New concerts you can't do anything at. You just kind of stand there, kind of, yay, look. But back in the day, it was like unleashed. Now it's like controlled nonsense to me. Right? But that's corrupting your ritual. You have 1,000 or plus people chanting something at a certain vibration, a certain frequency. A lot of people like, oh, it's like they wrote that song for me. If you can see what's happening in the next density right above you, in an etheric layer perhaps, you would see that you're drawing in and creating and manifesting these things. So you're making them yourself. And then you have your own personal demons. Like you have your collective consciousness ones, which is what the mass of the community believes. We believe in this. Well, then that'll exist. You're a creator. You all believe in it, so it's there. There's a place where it's there. It's really there. People get thrown off. It's all real. Because the UFO people want to laugh at the people with Bigfoot. And I laugh at them going, it's all real. Even the Smurfs and everything in between. It's all real. We're pulling out information in our TV shows and our cartoons and comic books and this and that. It's coming right out of the ether. You know why it's pumping in so hard? Why we're getting the Matrix as one of those things? Because it's time. Their veil of control could be put into place if we don't step into the game now and become what we're meant to become. You know, it's over being the slave. It's over. We've said no. I think collectively enough people have said it at this point. And this artificial intelligence cannot do anything if you just come out of the vibration. Eat better food, be a little more healthy, live in love. A demon can be right in front of you and manifest. And you can say, oh, I can't get away from this thing. You'll never get away from it. But if you mentally think to yourself, I'm out of here, and go to a high vibration, it can't follow you. It doesn't matter if it manifests right on top of your chest. It's trying to grab you by your neck. It's following you around. It will not be able to find you in a high vibration because these things cannot travel there. So if they're physically in front of you and you change your vibration, they're gone. So you're bringing in your own monsters, your own demons.
Because they're a lower level of consciousness. They're base
Right.
level thinking. And that's where humanity is, at base level thinking. And that's actually what true Satanism, to go back to what you were saying before, like what true Satanism actually is the not, you can get people running around in robes and all that and doing sacrifices and stuff, but it's actually the love of oneself over everything else, and, you know, only caring about yourself. And I'm not saying that self-love isn't important. It's not, but there's this balance of everything. And if you're only focused solely on yourself and nothing else, and you're totally disconnected from everything else around you, you're very easily manipulated and controlled, because you're also going to be very fearful, because your brain will automatically know what you can and can't handle. And if you're already in that modality of thinking, you're not in the thinking of, well, I can handle it myself, because if you were, then you wouldn't be at that level to begin with. That's the way it works. So you're going to be fearful, and you're already living in that fear vibration, and you're looking for someone to come protect you. And then, of course, in comes the powers that shouldn't be, whether they're reptilians wearing human suits or not. It doesn't, I mean, that they probably are. I actually subscribe to the theory that there's much darker, evil stuff going on than people even think.
Me and you both, Popeye.
But if people get out of that modality of thinking, if they unplug from that frequency, then they can't control you. Their method of control becomes irrelevant, because they're going to be, as Frank said, down below you. They're at base level thinking. They're a much lower level of consciousness. They're vibrating at a much lower, slower frequency, like fear. Very low, slow, woo, woo, woo. You ever turn on the news and listen, just close your eyes and feel the energy coming out of the television as the newscaster is talking, or go on one of the news websites and just feel the energy coming out of your computer through the internet, because they understand how to manipulate that now too. Remember, they're smart. They pay attention. You feel it. Woo, woo, woo. It's like they live, but the frequency, yes, they can mask things from you, but one of the other things they do is they keep you in this fear state. Again, like Bruce Lipton says, growth or protection. And we're stuck in protection right now, not growth. Growth would allow us to think, generate new healthy cells, fight off disease, maybe take the next level in our illumination, in our minds, right? In our evolution of thinking. But instead, all of that energy goes to protection, because we're kept in the constant state of fear through an IV drip of fear porn. I mean, you can feel it coming off the television. You can feel it coming from. No politician ever says, don't be afraid. They always say, you should be totally afraid. Al-Qaeda's going to come get you, but I'll protect you. Well, that's just to control you. I mean, if you had that in your own personal relationship, let's bring it back down to the micro. Because, again, as above, so below, law of correspondence. So let's bring it back down to the micro. If you had a personal relationship where you were with someone that constantly kept you in a state of fear and said, but don't worry, I'll be the one to protect you, wouldn't you think you'd eventually figure out that, I mean, somebody would tell you that loves you, hey, this guy's trying to control you, right? Like we're trying to tell you what's going on this much higher level. And eventually you'd see it. Now, whether or not you chose to act on it, that's different. Again, that's like going back to the Matrix, like Morpheus said, it's about choice. So are you going to make the choice to do something and break this abusive relationship cycle that we have, where they can do whatever they want to do and we're not going to do anything about it? We are more than they think we are. In fact, they know that.
They know exactly what's going on.
Yeah, they envy us, Frank. They envy our true power because they don't have it. And
here's
they
the thing.
want it.
We have the DNA in us from multiple beings from all across universes and beyond universes and in different dimensions. It's all mixed in. We're the mutts, so to speak. But with that gives you the emotional bandwidth, because it's bandwidth, right? You get the infinite range. So we, our little pink human suits, our little fleshy bodies that get hurt so easily, we can go sit with Source. Guess who can't go sit with Source? Guess who doesn't have free will? Who isn't part of the collective? You know, I could break it down to make it a little easier. You have Archons, artificial intelligence. You have Greys, reptilians, mantids, all kind of trickle down effect into the 1% here. Right? And then when you go into unlocking, because you're unlocking things with the rituals and the ceremonies and the sacred geometry to go into the lower vibrations to pull one of your thought form entities out. See, we can just do this stuff, right? Every time I do something, I don't need anything, like any ceremony. Like they tell me, look, man, do you have love? I go, yes, I have love. They go, walk in. I literally nothing. I don't need a chain. I don't need my Bible. I don't have a Bible, but I don't need my ayahuasca. I don't need nothing. Right? With them, though, you need everything. There's restrictions on everything. There's certain ways you have to do everything. And with that comes an evil, slow, scientific fear that drives you into a weird vibration. Like we can just do all this stuff. Your body heals itself. Eat the right food. Watch what happens. Go for a walk. Watch your stress go away. Everybody's, it's so funny. They pump pills into their mouths, but they'll look at somebody smoking pot and go, look at that pothead, while they drink a Diet Pepsi. I'm like, that's a toxin for your body. And they won't even care.
No. Everybody knows what's best for you, Frank.
I know. Everyone knows what's best for everyone else, too, but not for themselves. And then when you say, hey, buddy, let me help you because I'm a fellow creator and I can see inside to your problem no matter what's going on, and I'm just trying to help, and they go, yeah, F off. Right? Like, get out of here, buddy, you nosy little. And it's like, wait, everyone's involved in everyone's drama. So then when you do try to help, they just snap and go, get out of here. It's just really weird. It's a lot of what book was that where there was the double speak? It's a lot of that weird stuff and we're riding that. They've corrupted our spell casting ability, but that's why we're out here doing this.
We're biological computers. If you think about it, like, again, going to the Matrix, we're biological computers, and people they don't understand how easy it is to undo the programming. I shouldn't say it's easy, but it's not as hard as you think. It's actually, things are usually much easier than we think. We create our own anxiety because that is programmed into us.
When you believe you can't, you just can't.
A lot of our responses have been programmed into us from the time we were little computers before we grew up into adult computers. Because remember, our brains are just a huge biological computer. It's the fastest one on the planet, and it's almost like, to an extent, they can't. It's hard for them to just come in and physically control us the way they used to, because people were way more ignorant. And it's not like it is this way. Back 200-300 years ago, 400 years ago, you could control people much easier through brute strength, which you saw throughout history. It happened, but people understand freedom now to a much different degree. So it's much harder to do that right in your face. So the easier way, just like the United States, theoretically, for the most part, couldn't be brought down from an outside invading force unless you had like a ton of other countries ganging up and invading. An invading force, this country used to be tough. It would come together and repel borders, right? Well, what's the easiest way to destroy this country? From within. You get people to fight amongst themselves. Well, it's the same thing with us personally.
Yeah, that's
They
what
get
Madison
you to
said.
hate yourself. Well, they get you to hate yourself. They tell everybody you're garbage.
Doesn't that go to what Brzezinski said about how it used to be easier to control 1 million people, and now it's easier to kill 1 million people?
Mm-hmm. Well, but that's how they want to bring it down. They understand you can't come in and do it. Everybody would form up. So now they get us to hate ourselves. They understand that we've come to a different level of thinking. Like, Scott, that's a very good point you made about Brzezinski. It's actually a very good, almost like a visualization of that point, right? And that was when he was speaking at I think it was the Council on Foreign Relations. He was speaking at, if I remember correctly, it was either that or the Trilateral Commission. He's actually speaking at a luncheon talking about that.
And I'm sexually harassed by that. I need to go escape to my safe place.
I can say you need a safe place because you're upset. Because I said TFR.
Yeah, I don't like that. You said CFR.
Oh, CFR. Oh my God! Yeah, seriously. If you go, this is I don't know, like 2006. He said that 2007. Good point, Scott. He actually makes a reference to the fact that mankind is not easily controllable anymore. He says politically awakening in the speech, but it's more than just politically awakening. Whatever reason he chose those words, I mean, that could be dissected to a different degree too. The point is, it's now you have to get mankind to control itself from within. So they get people to think about themselves like, okay, Joe, you're stupid, you're dumb. Look what they teach kids nowadays. Look at the way they teach kids nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right? I know. They teach them, they grow up to be stupid. And it's not because they're not capable of other things. Everybody's capable. It's just, it's the dumbing down of society. Neil deGrasse Tyson, this is from Business Insider, came out and thinks that there's a very high chance that the universe is just a simulation. It's a hologram.
Dude, quantum physics, we make our own reality. So whatever our brains are this super biological computer, right?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
The simulation that we're living in, we're creating. So that means that we're creating it as we're all living in it. And it's each of us is creating our own part, whether it's our own personal part, which also affects, again, the macro. So then we're also creating as a whole, because like Frank said, if everybody has like the same fear of, oh my God, ISIS, now everybody is manifesting that, right? So that's how they keep control of us, because they keep control of the programming that's pumped into us. All right. So out of that comes this matrix that we live in, this program. We create that program. We are creating the construct as we go along. Again, going back to the unedited speech from the original Matrix that I spoke before, right? Either the construct can be a cage or a chrysalis. It's all how you look at it and how you decide to adapt and overcome the situation, right? So what do we do? If we're creating this current jail, tyrannical, prison planet-like existence, what do we do to stop it? We change the way we think. We change our perception. We take 3 steps to the right, to the left, to the front, to the back, however you want to visualize it in your head. You just change your view on it and go, oh, wow, I didn't see that before.
Reprogram the holodeck, really?
Well, exactly. You have to just stop, go back to 0 point, and start off again, and just have a different perspective. And you'd be amazed. You'd be amazed at what happens, because we actually do create our own reality. So either we have one. I don't like to narrow it down to one of 2 choices, because I hate that. But when it comes down to frequencies, it's fear or love. So which one do you choose to live in? I choose to live in love. And it's not easy, It's that the world is 24/7 fear, but if more of us keep doing it, okay? I know that no matter what I go through in my life, I have to keep living in that frequency. If I don't, if I succumb to the fear frequency and I start putting out negative energy, I'm a very powerful individual. I know that the energy I give off affects the universe around me and people. I have a much larger responsibility because I understand this to keep that in check and to do my damnedest to stay in that love frequency and not succumb to that fear. And it's not easy. It's a fight. It's a struggle every day for every one of us. But the more of us that do it, the less dark that tunnel will become and the brighter that light at the end of the tunnel will be.
The rewards are way better.
Exactly.
The reward systems are set up in us. We just don't know it yet because we've been so removed from it. You know, everyone can do the creative love and enjoyment that they are here to do. The pie is big enough for everyone to eat. Everyone gets to win at this game. Yes, love is hard, but you know what? If I told you love's the first step to a superpower, would you believe me? Or would you go and take the injection first? Right? I had to see it. I had to do it. Everybody knows through psychedelics, the shamanism, but it showed me. It just straight up showed me you can do this. And I go, wow, that's a lot safer and a lot cooler than anything you could even imagine. And it's like, right, now start doing it.
And then put it into practice.
And then I put it into practice. And that's how you have to do it. And everything starts to change for the better. It's always so dark at first, but it's not. By the time you're on your third thought, you should be 2 feet into it.
Well, just the only way to combat this darkness, ladies and gentlemen, is to be the light yourself. Remember that. That's the best advice I can give. Stay tuned.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Freaky Friday, and it's the last segment before we hand it off to the Geos. Yes. Freaky. Where's the Wookiee? He was asleep at the wheel. Oh, no. It's not Wookiee season. Now you pissed him off, Kev.
But, you know, that sets us up nicely kind of for what we were talking about during the break there, because we were talking about all of us, each and every one of us being superheroes. And, you know, Chewie, he is the ultimate Wookiee superhero on a Freaky Friday. But, Frank, you were talking about this superhero thing during the break, and I'd love for you to share that with the audience.
Yeah, well, the stories with the superheroes are actually the stories of old that being retold. They're pulling the information out of the ether, and there's more truth to these things. But then what are we always trying to achieve? Through technology and through advancements and evolution, you want to evolve to become the Superman. You search for these things. Your thought form entities become these characters of old that you call gods of old and stuff. Everything on the TV recently is the superheroes. You can achieve this on your own and become your own superhero. You know, not that. I mean, honestly, they have better ideals than most people that are out there now, the heroes from the book. So if you looked up to them and said, well, how can I do this? Well, everyone helps in their own way. Everybody unlocked something within themselves that makes you that kind of hero to someone else or something else at that time. You know what I mean? You could be a hero to your cat. You know, you can live a good life and the cat looks up to you and you have a good relationship. You're a hero. You have to start becoming the hero, not waiting for the hero to show up and save you, because that's not really what's happening. And I was saying before, like everyone on the show tonight is coming at this from a different angle and using their superpower, so to speak, to try to talk to the masses. And we have all the frequencies and all the vibrations, and we're covering it, showing you that even no matter what you can do or what you go and discuss with someone else, all of that leads you towards that superpower. And I'm going to tell you guys this, and I say it all the time. I know I had to access it through ayahuasca or DMT or psychedelics, whatever. You see yourselves what you really are. You're better than any superhero that you've ever seen ever. You couldn't even imagine how cool it is. So, I mean, there's your reward right within itself. You know, you don't need to take the chip to do it. Although you can take a ride in the simulation, yay. But do you really want to be a simulation within a simulation within maybe another simulation? Or do you want to learn how to do it yourself? I mean, it's up to the individual.
It's all about choice.
Yeah.
It's all about
It's
choice.
all
What are you
choice.
going to do with your true power? And, you know, I sign.
There's no wrong answer either.
Well, no, it's that's why I sign off at night when I get off air. I always say, "Go be the superheroes that you all are." That's not hyperbole. I'm actually like trying to encourage you all to realize that you're all very powerful individuals. If everybody does that, this crap that we can't stand that goes on 24/7, this fear soup that we swim in, this goes away. All of the and not everybody's problems won't be just solved overnight. I'm not going to sit here and be like, "Oh, don't worry, tomorrow you'll wake up and poof, everything will be better." No, it's not like that. But things will eventually start to right themselves. That's the way it works. It'll correct itself. But we have to put out that frequency, and the more that's put out, then the more other people will pick up and go, "Oh, you know, wow, I'm inspired." You know what keeps me going? I don't get paid for doing this. And Frank, you know this because you and I have had talks about this. I'll get an email every once in a while, and somebody will tell me they woke up and they've been listening to me for like 6-7 months. And they heard something I said, and it set them on this path. And now they found TFR and all these other hosts, and it inspired them to go do their own YouTube channel or their own website. That's what keeps me going, because who knows how many people they're going to reach or who they're going to be next. They could be the next Frank Castle or the next Chris and Cherie or the next Joe Joseph or Kev Baker or Johnny Whistles or Scott or Ken or Popeye. They could be the next one of us. So that's my goal. My goal is to run around waking people up and getting people to realize their own true power. My benefit, as I said to you, Frank, you know, and to the rest of the guys during the break, when I sit back and I hear people having a conversation about, and it's people like I know, or I know that this wasn't a mainstream part of any conversation, and they're talking about stuff that I've talked about for a long time or others have talked about for a long time, and it's now like regular conversation and they get it. That makes me smile because I know I'm having the effect that I'm supposed to have. I don't need to have money, riches, and fame.
Destiny.
It is. It is Vader. It really is our destiny. Seriously.
Yeah, I'll put a little woo on it. After seeing the reptilians myself, this is the best thing you can do is to come out and wake up, because they watch you and they document everyone that goes and finds out that they're the creator again. And I said, "Why do you do that?" And he goes, "Because enough of yous wake up, we lose. Period. Like, what are we going to do? If you know what's going on, nothing works." And I went, wow. So knowing that should get everybody started in the right direction as well. You know, go be a good dad, a good mom, a good person, a good friend. That's where you could start there.
Right there. You just said they told you that once everybody understands and it's a level playing field, they become irrelevant. Their method of control disappears. Poof.
And they can't do anything about it. They can't do not a thing about it, because it's a symbiotic thing that they seem to need. And yeah, it's all free will. It's all free will. You know, it's funny. With all the Matrix talk, you don't realize what he goes through when he takes the red pill, and you see him like touch the mirror. Drinking ayahuasca or smoking DMT is exactly like that. And then you wake up and you see a giant spider thing that comes out. It's actually eating on your energy. It's a metaphor in the movie, naturally. But that whole archonic scene, you know, change that stuff now, because I'll tell you what, after seeing that, some people need to see it and they just change. It's like, wow, I saw lung cancer, I stopped smoking. You know, I saw archons eating my energy, I turned into this guy. You know, there's a lot going on here, and we could change it right now. We could change it just by saying things like no and planting a garden and eating right and and just living to your potential and not worrying about what the next person's doing. Mind your business. Go about your business, right? And have a good time. Be the best person you can be, and watch what the reward system that's implanted that shows up. Not saying that things aren't hard for other people, but you know what? People have to help people, and the system's set up for not to let you help anyone. You give money to a charity, they take all of it. They give a percentage away, right? You go over there, and then it's just trouble. There's got to be a better way. There is a better way.
I had something I wanted to add to that, because it's very inspirational, and I got something I'll share with you guys. Some of you probably already heard it, some of you might not. But it's like 2 minutes, so bear with me. But it's on exactly what you guys are talking about.
The world's more crazier than ever before. There's head chopping, bombs dropping, psyops and cold wars, torture, genocide, rape, murder in these hard times. Seems like the whole damn world's committing war crimes. Our water's poison, it's nasty, dumping trash everywhere. Radiation, chemicals, mold, pollution, and toxic air. Super diseases, viruses, GMO mutations, herbicides, pesticides, mercury-laden vaccinations. Look at our children's educations decline. Thanks, Common Core. Can you hear them? Rockefellers laughing louder than ever before. And look out now, here comes Big Pharma again. Pushing for everyone to be on their dope, not if, but when. Health care, they don't. No cure, they sing. But we're really close. We just need more funding. Cha-ching, cha-ching. The bank turds creeping in the shadows, plotting their new score. The rich have never been richer, yet they still want more. Got their politicians with mental conditions, dangling from puppet strings, believing they're in important positions. They're not. They're disposable and will never be able to sit at that seat that they were promised at the fat cat's table. So the madness continues as it has for a very long time, but here's the twist. As long as these turds are around doing the evil that they do, the revolution will exist. Because they have done and do is just not right and has never been fair. There's always been and will be the ones who stand up against tyranny because they care, enslaving, killing, and destroying life because they think they're a special breed. That mentality has no place in our world, therefore it could never succeed. For thousands of years before us, people rebelled because they saw and felt the wrong. So hold the faith, people. Never be silent, never give up, and always be strong.
That's all I got to say about that.
That's awesome, man.
Awesome, Ken.
Oh, yeah.
The Force is with you, young Skywalker.
No, but it does. It goes back within the work we do within ourselves and the things that we do. Because if you're working on yourself and you're doing things out there, I think that goes out. It's like an energy that just goes out. You're doing, other people see you doing, or whatever it is, whatever influence you have. It's like, yeah, working on yourself is always just a plus.
Well, that's actually how Neo wins. That's what the three movies, the three Matrix movies, are deep allegories, and I've done multiple shows about this. But the end of the third one, do you remember how he gets rid of Agent Smith? Remember, he's taken over the entire Matrix, everyone in it. It's so look at Agent Smith like fear. He's a visual representation of like death, but let's say he's fear, right? And his fear has taken over everyone. How did Neo beat him? He allowed him to consume him, and then Neo filled him and everybody that was infected by him, because it was, remember, it's a computer. It's a story about, kind of computer simulation, the whole allegory of computers and programming like we are, again, and how we're all interconnected. And Neo, from within, used his light, his energy. And what happened? All of the Agent Smiths explode, and everything goes back to normal. Now, I mean, there's more to it. There's, sacrifice, this, that, the other thing. There's more to the allegory, but do you understand the visual there? Do you understand that even though he was consumed, that he let Agent Smith think that he won. He overtook him, and then suddenly that light can't be extinguished. Do you get it? It came from within, and it exploded all of that evil. It pushed it all to the farthest corners, pushed it all away, cleared it out, all the way through the Matrix. It released everybody. So that shows you that your true power, ladies and gentlemen, is within you. Don't let them tell you that you don't have it and that, no, you're stupid. They want you to be that physical meme. They want you to be like the people in the movie Idiocracy. Don't allow it. You know how you fight back? Educate yourself. Read. Learn how to garden. I garden. I go out and I play in my veggie garden and everything every day. You know how healthy it is to be around those plants and just talk and just feel the vibration from them? You can laugh at me all you want. I know what I'm doing is right. And if more and more people did that, they wouldn't be able to control us. It's really, really, honestly, that simple. Okay? And I'd like to refer to a piece of audio really quick. And for the YouTube archive, this will probably have to get removed because, YouTube and their copyright crap. But I'd like to refer to the late, great Bill Hicks and his It's Just a Ride. He used to close some of his comedy routines with this, and there's a famous one he did over in London where that's the one where he did the JFK thing too, where he talked about how, back and to the left. It's a classic Bill Hicks. Anyway, at the end of that comedy special, he did this on camera. This is where this recording comes from, and I want to play this really quick because it's very powerful and poignant. It's only 1 minute and 43 seconds, but let's listen to what the late, great Bill Hicks had to say, shall we?
The world is like a ride at an amusement park, and when you choose to go on it, you think it's real, because that's how powerful our minds are. And the ride goes up and down and round and round. It has thrills and chills, and it's very brightly colored, and it's very loud, and it's fun for a while. Some people have been on the ride for a long time, and they begin to question, is this real, or is this just a ride? And other people have remembered, and they come back to us, and they say, hey, don't worry, don't be afraid, ever, because this is just a ride, and we kill those people. Shut him up. We have a lot invested in this ride. Shut him up. Look at my furrows of worry. Look at my big bank account and my family. This has to be real. It's just a ride. But we always kill those good guys who try and tell us that. You ever notice that? And let the demons run amok? But it doesn't matter because it's just a ride. We can change it anytime we want. It's only a choice. No effort, no work, no job, no savings of money. A choice right now between fear and love. The eyes of fear, once you put bigger locks on your door, buy guns, close yourself off. The eyes of love, instead, see all of us as one. Here's what we can do to change the world right now, to a better ride. Take all that money we spend on weapons and defense each year and instead spend it feeding, clothing, and educating the poor of the world, which should live many times over, not one human being excluded, and we can explore space together, both inner and outer, forever in peace.
There you go. The late, great Bill Hicks. Doesn't really matter because it's just a ride. But it really does matter. We need to change things. If you want things to change, like Bill Hicks said, it's just a matter of choice between fear and love. It's that simple. It really is that simple, ladies and gentlemen. So, what do you choose? Gentlemen, thoughts?
I choose the light. I'll tell you that.
I'm a lover, not a fighter.
But as a lover, you are a fighter.
If it's a ride and we're being reincarnated and shot back in here, somebody's got better start picking up the trash and playing it cool because we're going to be reincarnated back into a giant mess if we don't. Think about being in a action park or something, but you're totally frightened that you're there. Or you could go in and enjoy yourself and have a good time. We got to keep that stuff straight. You got to straighten it out so people know what's going on. And we're so much more than what they tell us. And there's so much more. If they tell you that there's UFOs, fellas, just know that there's so much more happening if we don't push for stuff like full disclosure and how to do things properly, we're never going to get anything. Don't accept anything but 100% truth. Anything less, you're just wasting your time anyway.
Oh, do you know, tonight's show, I think, has made me think of a saying that makes it really more powerful than I ever thought, that love conquers all.
Indeed it does. It is the most powerful thing. It's what everything's made of. It's such a great thing to have. I mean, we could go down all the good reasons.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just
there's
they
no
take us
doubt.
so far from it.
You know, it's funny because in the Bible, you got Jesus. He said one thing. He said, look, love your neighbor. That's all you got to do. If you just do that, everything kind of falls into place. It really does. Because if you think about it, what are the two things that we look for most is personal responsibility. You want people to be responsible for themselves, and mutual respect. If you got those two things going, it's great, but none of it can happen without love. You got to have the love there. Without love, you can't have personal responsibility. You can't have mutual respect, you know? And really, you know, greed, selfishness, that's all an impediment to love. Got to get that out of the way. You know, be selfless and fearless.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'd stay away from those 7 deadly sins.
Yes.
Those are all things that make your ego explode. Corruption. Those are all just corruption tactics for the biocomputer that you're living in at the moment.
And sometimes, you know, in this world, in this construct, sometimes it may seem like you're getting the shit end of the stick, but in reality, you know, sometimes being the light bearer means that you get the shit flung at you sometimes. It is that way. There is pushback. It's like 11/22/63. The past has a way of pushing back. Well, same can be said here. You know, when you start to push back against the darkness, you know, the municipalities, the principalities that exist now today, yeah, they push back. But it's all right, because you know what? We got their number. We really do. You've got to discipline yourself. It's like they say, you know, practice makes perfect. Keep practicing, you know, and sharpen your discernment, and you'll start to see things the way they are.
And be happy with your life. If you're not happy with your life, make your life happy.
Because it can
you
always be worse.
Flourish and blossom and do things, see things. Let that spread instead of just being jammed down in that system that everybody, we're all just jammed in this box, you know, 40 hours a week or something like that. Got to work, got to do these things. You know, you just get so wrapped with that. You forget to take time to blossom yourself and be happy and do the things you feel like you can't do them for whatever reasons. Now, you have to take care of yourself so that you can take and be able to help other people if you wish, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, you could back the darkness off. I shine, you shine, the next person shines, and then you have a community with their light on, so to speak, and no darkness can reach you. No low vibration thought form entity, no demon, nothing, no magic, no testament can be held against you, because you are the light. You're just living in the truth. You're here to create. This isn't supposed to be a place where you show up and then it's supposed to be hard all the time. It's actually not supposed to be that. But remember, becoming like learning how to meditate, people say, I can't do it because I can't sit still. Well, then you should sit still longer until you learn how, because you're just putting it off. You're putting off the way to get good. You know, so
And
just take small steps.
And they spend a lot of money, these turds out here, and they have for a very long time studying people and figuring out ways in society to keep people from blossoming and figuring these things out. I mean, think about all of the money and the time and the energy and the wars, and I mean, just everything that has been spent on keeping people from themselves. It's crazy.
They keep sending you John Lennons and you keep killing them. So guess what? Everyone become a John Lennon. Everyone become a Prince. Everyone become a superhero. And then you don't have to worry no more. There's no more worry. The lies can't reach you. They can't manifest themselves. They can't control it. Why? Because you have control over yourself. And that's where you start.
The solutions to our problems are an inside job. What?
What was that?
What? Wait. Can you say it again, Popeye? I said the solutions to our problems are an inside job.
Be the change.
Yeah, well, you can make fun of it all you want, but I believe in it so much. I got it tattooed on the side of my neck.
You did. I know, man.
It's an actual conversation starter. People all the time come up to me and ask me about it, and that enables me to have this conversation with them.
At least you spelled it right.
And you're the man that broke the internet.
At least the guy didn't put keep the change.
See, it all depends on the tattoo artist you go to. That's why you make sure you know the guy. You don't just go to some dude that's I'll do your neck tattoo for $20. No, that's cool. You keep that.
Well, we can do a trade, Popeye. We can do a trade. Hold on.
Yeah, no. There's no.
That was really quick for you there, Joe.
You like that?
I love it, man.
He's actually had that written down, Kev, for 6 months.
And I save it for those moments.
And
you've been putting on repros for 6 months. That's what it is.
He's waiting for the exact time, and then.
That's right. Keep the change.
So who you got coming up this week, Popeye?
Well, this coming Wednesday, I got Holland Van and Nieuwenhof and Wendy Painting coming on to talk about Wendy's new book about the Oklahoma City bombing. And there's you want to talk about woo. There's some connections to implanted chips and Area 51 wooery in there, too.
Oh, couldn't ask for more than that.
Oh, yeah,
and
dude. I'll set
all roads lead to the woo.
Frank Castle, when can people hear your woo on Fearless?
Every Saturday night, 9 to 10 o'clock, Eastern Standard. Check me out, and you can find me, HEISTCLICK, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. So,
and listen, folks, all the Wookiees out there, that is a must-attend event because Frank puts on an absolutely brilliant show, as you can tell from what you've heard here tonight. Myself and Johnny will have Alison Dunlop on Monday. Ken, Scotty, what have you got planned for next week?
Still waiting on to hear from somebody for a guest for Thursday.
Thursday night with Ken and Scotty. And Joe, what are you doing this week, man?
Jeff Berwick on Monday night. And then Wednesday night, who knows? But Jeff Berwick on Monday.
Awesome stuff, folks. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. And don't forget, coming up right after the break, it is the main show in town, Chris and Cherie Geo. So don't go anywhere. Another 3 hours of brilliant radio wherever you are. Make it TFR.
And then he touched that dial.